Alright. As we have 10 contestants this time, which is a really nice turn up compared to the previous marathons. We will be switching out players from time to time.
Alright, the race is gonna start in 10 seconds. Of course, there will be a small delay before our contestants get started. But yeah.
Yeah, they should be
on their way.
Starting now.
So what's this first game we're getting into, Mullah?
It is called Banishing Racer, a game made by Jellico. It's not really well known. It only came out in Japan, first of all, so it's always a problem with Japanese-only releases to get known throughout the world. But it's a really interesting platformer where you control a tiny car, and the mechanics are you can jump and you can like boost yourself, and what you want to do in this game is basically keep on boosting as much as you can and well, get to the end of the level as quickly as possible while avoiding multiple hazards like other cars, trucks, airplanes, cannons shooting at you, bats. It's a really crazy game to look at.
Yeah, this game is very much based off of timing. You'll see later on, like stages 2 and 3, there'll be some very, very tight jumps with the car. This game is one-hit kill, right, Mo?
That is correct. You can only take one hit before you lose a life. Luckily, there are infinite continues. They do put you back at the first part of the stage, so if you die on 1-3, for example, you go back to stage 1-1. But all levels are really short, like 30 seconds, 40 seconds long. So once you get to know the route to take, it gets pretty easy. We did stop this game after stage 3 because stage 4 and 5 are absolutely relentless, and we always try to think about people who are joining this race blind. It would be basically impossible to get through this game in an hour because of stage 4 and 5.
Yeah, so we have Captain Duck, and it looks like everyone mostly is going into 1-3 right now, which is where some of the tighter jumps come into play. If you touch the ceiling with the spikes, obviously you're going to die and go back to the beginning. You gotta dodge cannonballs. This is where a lot of the timing jumps come into play for this game. You'll see some stages with when the car has wings, like 1-2 was. Those stages, in my opinion, are relatively easy. Basically, you can just stay at the top of the screen and call it good. Some people want to throw some swag in there and kill the things coming at them, but it's honestly not too bad.
And completely unnecessary as well, unless you want to put yourself at risk. Doesn't come into play in stage 1-2 much, but in I think it's 3-2, maybe the cave. There are spikes on the ceiling, so touching an enemy in the wrong way will get you killed because you get boosted up after you kill an enemy. That's also why they're like taking their time in stage 1-3 because of the spikes. I think it's one of the few stages where you actually have to wait because you can't progress unless some of the enemies are further away from the spikes.
Yep. So it looks like Captain Duck and Atra is moving on to stage 2. Gygus finishing up the bosses along with Carol and Smart Alex. So everyone's finished up stage 1 now. The boss, so stage 1 boss is you jump on its head, but you can't keep repetitively jumping because the dragon will shoot fire from its mouth after you hit it. So you need to hit it, jump back, then jump back and hit it again. It's kind of tedious fight, but for the most part it's really easy. All damage is avoidable.
Yeah, what you should do on the first boss is after you get the first hit, you can jump in behind him, where you're completely safe, and you can time it really well to just get the hits in the moment he stops using his water gun. I do seem to remember when I tried running this game a while back that it's actually possible to even hit him when he's doing his water attack. That technique is not being used in the world record by Dugong, who is also the only runner on the leaderboard at this moment. But yeah, I think it's possible to even hit him when he's doing the water sprouting.
So again, we have how many contestants?
We have 10.
10.
10 contestants, and we'll be trying to keep track of who is in the lead, like the 4 people in the lead. It might be a challenge, but we'll try our best.
Yeah, everybody that I'm watching is around stage 2-2, except for some girl on the internet who is still struggling with 1-3 right now.
Yeah, I'm watching most people as well, and Atraz and Captain Duck are fighting it out in 2-3 right now. Looks like Smart Alec is jumping into 2-3 as well. Ace is having a heck of a time in 1-3, it looks like. 1-3 can be tough if you're a blind runner in this game. Infinite Mystery is fighting the stage 1 boss. But yeah, the first time I played this game, I struggled doing the goal at first because the game is hard. Like the one-hit kills, even with infinite continues, the game is still semi-relentless. So
yeah, it's definitely not an easy game to pick up on the go. The mechanics are not that hard to figure out, but timing is really, really necessary in this game to go fast. And even to just progress in general, honestly. You can see some people at stage 3-1. That's another stage where you have to stop for UFOs right at the end. There's no way to get underneath them to go faster. At least nobody has found a way to go underneath them right now.
it looks like Smart Alec is having a good time with the Donkey Kong barrels at the end of stage 2-3.
Those are hard if you do not know the timing.
In case people are wondering why Infinite Mystery has like some interlacing on screen and why Gygus Blues has color, it's because Infinite Mystery is currently playing on Super Game Boy 2 and Gygus Blues is playing on the Game Boy Player, and our other 2 contestants on screen are playing on emulator right now.
Yeah, I think most of the other runners are using an emulator, which hopefully is not VBA.
Nah, they look like they're using
I think
BGB or
BGB,
Gamepad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for people who want to start running Game Boy games, there is one rule you always have to remember: do not use Visual Boy Advance for a normal Game Boy or Game Boy Color. Even for Game Boy Advance, it's actually not really accurate, but there's sadly no other option available. But it runs at a completely wrong speed, and it gives us in the Game Boy community a lot of trouble because a lot of new submissions still are done with VBA. And yeah, keep in mind that it's not allowed.
So it looks like Atraz here is fighting the stage 3 boss right now, which is just kind of a bulldozer that throws rocks. Again, a very simple boss, but if you're not paying attention, it can catch you off guard pretty quick.
Yeah, another one of those things where you have to wait because you cannot continuously hit him as he puts his shield above his hitbox after you hit him once. But yeah, that boss is the end goal for this race. Like I said before, there's 2 more levels. Those are pretty tough to beat.
Alright, Atraz is finishing up Banishing Racer now, and he'll be moving on to Ultraman Ball. For those of you that watched Summer Games Done Quick 2016, you may have seen Ultraman Ball being showcased at SGDQ. Mo, do you want to talk more about Ultraman?
Sadly, I do not know that much about Ultraman Ball, except that it's one of the weirdest mechanics in a game. If you're going in blind, it's really hard to understand how the ball works when it bounces off things. So it could take a while to get used to if you've never played the game before. I remember the first time I played that game, it took me 2 hours to beat, and my subsequent runs only took like 20 minutes and 15 minutes and less and less. So
yeah, so basically Ultraman Ball is kind of a game of weird physics. It's not even good physics, but weird physics where you basically run through a level and try and get to an end goal as a ball, because you have to break blocks to get to an exit. I don't know a ton about this game either, but I do understand that the physics of this game in terms of bouncing, you can bounce on spikes. I believe the only time you're really in harm's way is when you're not in ball form.
that's true most of the time. There are some enemies, not many of them. There's some moles in later stages that actually can hurt you while you're in ball form, and the same goes for projectiles that some of the enemies shoot at you. But what you want to do most of the time is stay in ball form, because you're pretty oblivious to any kind of attack throughout the level. And as you can see, like, all these levels are maybe 20 seconds long. It's really crazy how fast this game goes by if you're not paying attention.
So now we have Captain Duck going into Ultraman Ball, completing 1-1. Giygas having some struggles in stage 3. Everyone else is hopping into stage 3. Looks like IM is finishing up stage 1.
Yeah.
Nope, trying to finish up stage 1. Trying to kill the dragon boss in 1-3.
Yeah, Zarby89 is also on Ultraman right now. The same goes for, I don't know how to pronounce this guy's name, or girl's name, I'm sorry. This Yellow Ray, also Ultraman Ball. Some girl on the internet is still having trouble with stage 1-3 in Vanishing Racer, sadly.
Smart Alec looks like he's going to be trying to finish up stage 3-3 here. Having some fun bouncing on the bulldozer shield. Not getting the best timing there.
Yeah, you can see Captain Duck like flying around the stage. It's when you pick up a feather, it only gets used 2 times in the entire game, and I don't even think the speedrun utilizes it at all. The actual world record. It's something you can entirely skip on, but it puts you in another very safe place to get through the levels very quickly.
It looks like Giygas now is jumping into Ultraman Ball. Giygas looks like he might be playing on the Game Boy player.
He is.
Infinite Mystery finishing up stage 1 boss at Vanishing Racer. Carol finishing up stage 3 boss in Vanishing Racer. And Smart Alec is trying to finish up stage 3 boss as well. Well, we have Captain Duck and Atros and now Giygas, at least from whom I'm watching, in Ultraman Ball right now.
Yeah, it's just some girl on the internet is having a lot of trouble with Vanishing Racer. He's back on stage 1-1, I'm afraid. Yeah, what more can you say about Ultraman Ball? It's another Japanese-only game, of course. Nobody in their right mind would ship this out to to the Americas or Europe, which is sad because it's a pretty cool game.
You're basically Iron Man that turns into a ball.
Yeah, I don't know what I keep forgetting what those kinds of shows are called on, like Power Rangers and Kamen Rider, or what's it called? They have a name. I know they have. Yeah, it's one of those shows. And this game has nothing to do with that as far as I've never seen him turn into a ball. Who even came up with this idea?
Japan.
Yeah, Japan. Well, yeah.
Just leave it to Japan. So it looks like we have Ace trying to finish up the stage 2 boss, and he just kills it. So he'll be moving on to Ultraman Ball once the fireworks are all done. Infinite Mystery getting through 2-1 pretty easily, it looks like. The motorcycles can be a little bit of a pain just because they can jump at you, but they're not too bad.
Yeah. Phew. I guess we can stream somebody else instead of Infinite for a while until he gets through.
You said Aces are about to start Ultraman Ball? Or?
Yep, Ace just started it.
Alright.
We have Ace, we have Carol, we have Smart Alec, who we currently don't have on stream in Ultraman Ball right now.
Yeah. For me, everybody except for some girl on the internet, who is now fighting the first boss. Probably a different game they slept Ultraman in. That is possible, actually. They did that a lot.
There were a few like Ultraman games on Game Boy in Japan, weren't there? It wasn't just Ultraman Ball, but there were a plethora of other Ultraman games.
There are, but I don't think any of them are even platformers or action games. If I remember correctly, they're all like puzzle games or something like that, or a set of mini games.
So Ultraman Ball is pretty unique to the Ultraman series, one would
That's
say.
for sure. Yeah. It's an enjoyable game, but it can get frustrated because of the physics if you're playing it blind. The good news is you have unlimited continues, and basically you can just say you have unlimited lives because if you do a continue, you start right at the stage you died on.
Yeah, that is like a pretty common theme that I found with a lot of Japanese games that I've played, is that compared to their English or American counterpart, the Japanese games have unlimited continues, while maybe the American version of the game you have 2 or 3 continues at most.
Mm-hmm. I wonder why they made it harder for most of the American ports or the European ports for some games, because usually they make things easier, but for Game Boy that's usually not true. Like if you just think about why they didn't release Super Mario Bros. 2, the Lost Levels as they're called here then, because it was too hard, but yeah, I don't know. Sometimes they make very weird decisions.
I mean, it's kind of similar to that Mega Man 2 even. For those of you that are still sticking around after the 46 Robot Master Race, the Japanese version obviously only has one difficulty that I remember. It's difficult, while the American version has normal and difficult options.
Some girl made it to 2, at least, stage 2 in Vanishing Racer, so there is progress.
It looks like Infinite Mystery is trying to get through stage 2 right now. Unfortunately, going to have to start it over with a death in 2-3.
Yeah, Atros is actually on the final boss of Ultraman Ball already. The split for this game is when the cutscene starts after the boss fight, because there's still a possibility you bounce off in a weird way or get hit by one of the projectiles even after killing the boss. Which means you die and have to replay the boss fight, but he seems to have done it, so he's going on to Miracle Adventures of E-Sparks.
I've never played E-Sparks until I went through the list for the Tiny 10, and I found the game, it was a very unique game. I haven't played a game like it yet on Game Boy.
The one game I would compare it the most to might be Kid Dracula, because it has kind of similar mechanics and kind of similar sprite sizes. I would put it in the same boat as that one. But yeah, another Japanese-only game, sadly, which I found a few months back. Nobody had heard about it before, nobody recommended it to me, and when I played it, I just fell in love with it completely. It's one of the most easy games to route when it comes to speedrunning. Like, I had nobody to watch for an example, so I did it on my own. The levels, there's absolutely no RNG to be found. Every enemy spawns in the same way, they always move in the same way, so it's easy to just, once you know where the enemies are, how to move completely through the level. There are a few really cool mechanics about this game. You have 3 different kinds of shots. You have your normal shot that does normal damage. You have a split shot that goes into 3 parts that does half damage, and then you have the other split electricity shot, which does the same damage as your normal shot, but it only appears right in front of you, so you would have to get really close to enemies. Another great thing about this game is, which is you're gonna start seeing from the second boss and onwards, is when you take a hit, for some reason you can just spam your attack, which makes killing bosses really fast. Yeah, Atros is heading to the first boss where you can use that on, so I'll talk about that a little bit later.
Looks like we got Captain Doug jumping into the E-Sparks game as well.
Yep, a lot of people are almost finished with Ultraman Ball right now. They're all in the final world of that.
Dua asked about the bonus games. I assume in Ultraman Ball, because we have Ace right now. The bonus games, when you enter them, they actually also finish the stage, I believe.
Mm-hmm. That's right, but of course you lose time because you have to finish the bonus stage itself. So it is easier in Ultraman Ball just to go to the actual exit instead of the bonus game.
We got Gaigus Blues going into E-Sparks now.
Yeah, Atros is going to that boss I was talking about. As you can see, he takes damage on purpose, and then you can spam your attack, which sets up quick kills for most of the bosses, except for the first one and the 4th one. The game also only has 6 stages, so it's also a pretty short game. Atros actually has the new world record in that game. He got it during practice, so he has been improving much upon my initial run of it. Sometimes you can see like a floaty guy dropping stuff. He can drop either an invincibility thing. It's always set. Each one drops the same things each time. It's an invincibility cloak thing, some points, which sounds dumb, because why would you need points? Well, I'll get back to that in a second. He also drops extra lives, or even a little helper guy that defeats enemies when they get close to you, but he's pretty much useless because you've killed everyone in front of you anyways. But the points do matter in this game, because the moment you hit 3000 points you get an armor upgrade, which doubles your damage, which is really helpful for the later bosses.
Talking about Atros getting the world record, he's actually been getting many of the world records in the Game Boy community lately. He's really been going at it the past few months. I believe he got Tailspin as well.
Tailspin as well, yeah.
And he got the Addams Family world record as well a few weeks ago by the full total of 3 frames.
Yeah, Addams Family Game Boy is basically Super Mario Bros.
At this point, yes.
Yeah, yeah. But better, of course, because Game Boy.
Because, yeah, of course.
Maybe he'll start playing Jurassic Park 2.
Sure, yeah. That's a possibility.
Or Dreamland.
Yeah, some girl is still having a lot of trouble with Banishing Racer.
Looks like Infinite Mystery is going through 3-2 right now.
Okay.
3-2 is a little tough final stage because you have the falling down rocks that can just sometimes they want to fall and sometimes they don't, and when they do want to fall, it can be very inconvenient. So.
Atros just did the first part of the dragon stage, where you get to ride a cool dragon. That's about all. He still doesn't have his armor upgrades. He's actually really low on points, in my opinion. I usually try to get it after the first mid boss in stage 3. But he might get it at the start of stage 4.
It's interesting that eSparks has a white border around the sprites instead of a black border.
What?
eSparks, the sprites have a white border and not a black border. That's very interesting.
I never paid that much attention to it.
I never have either.
I really like the sprite work in this game. I think it's an amazing looking game. The game does have a few issues, like all games do. Moving platforms are not so much fun to jump on because if you keep moving while jumping on them, you get stuck in your jumping animation, which means you cannot like quick jump off them, so you have to stop for a short amount of time before jumping again.
Looks like Atros just got the 3,000 points and transformed into a different being.
Yeah, exactly. So now he has his power upgrade, so he does double damage with everything.
Now, with the double damage, if he were to die or game over or anything, would he lose that power up?
If you game over, you lose your points, which means you lose your armor. So it's not really cool to game over in this game. Luckily, there's really a lot of 1-ups to be collected, so it shouldn't be a problem, but it does happen. And the biggest problem you're gonna get to is in stage 5, the boss. He does double damage to you, and it's an underwater fight, which only makes it worse because your movement is slowed down quite a bit, and it's a real bother to get through him by that point if you do not have the armor. It is possible, but you're gonna have a bad time. To continue does put you right where you died, so you can keep replaying the boss fight over and over again until you have it. Zelloray is also playing eSparks right now. Zarby is at, I don't know if it's the refight of the third boss of Ultraman Ball.
Yeah, so we got Ace in 4-4 right now of Ultraman Ball. We have Smart Alec in 4-3 of Ultraman Ball. Infinite Mystery in 3-3 of Banishing Racer. Getting through 3-3 is a little... It is hard. This is when the game, in my opinion, just really starts to get really difficult and is very much more based on timing than the previous stages. So any blind racer going through stage 3 is going to be surprised in some parts. But he gets through 3-3 and he'll be fighting the stage 3 boss, which was the bulldozer.
Yeah, some girl is also on a 3-1 right now, so almost done. Yeah, Atros is in the level I was talking about, which is the water level. Luckily, you can get out of it really quickly and you do not have to go into it again. but the boss is in the water though.
So, Zelda Ray's in East Parks, or?
Yeah, he's currently starting stage 2.
Guess we'll switch soon to his stream then.
That's right, Hypno Beam. Only one crazy guy playing on the Game Boy Player.
I personally love the Game Boy Player.
Don't get me started on it.
No, please explain. What
Well,
have we just found out about the Game Boy Player?
Recently we found out that somehow I was losing a lot of time on a 1.5 minute game compared to other runners, namely Adam's Family, and we couldn't quite figure out why. So I went ahead and started some frame testing on emulator versus the Game Boy Player, and we found out that the PAL Game Boy Player has a really messed up frame rate and is like, what was it, 6 frames slower per loading screen on that game. And there's a lot of loading screens, so yeah, it's not a good system on the PAL version. So I switched recently to the Super Game Boy 2, which matches the emulator speeds exactly. So
yeah, once again, PAL sucks.
Yep.
Sadly.
Yep.
If you want to run Game Boy games, don't do it on the PAL Game Boy Player.
Yeah, your best method of actually doing this is get yourself a Super Famicom, a Super Game Boy 2, and well, an EverDrive, unless you actually want to buy every card.
And if you want to play Game Boy Color games, then I don't know. We gave up.
Well, some of us gave up.
I guess an NTSC Game Boy Player works, but if you're in Europe, that's quite an expensive purchase.
Yeah, it is.
It would be fun with a Game Boy interface. I don't know.
Infinite Mystery is starting up. Ultraman Ball. I never realized Ultraman Ball has a Super Game Boy border.
Yeah, it's one of the Super Game Boy games in this thing, which is also a problem, by the way. Super Game Boy games do not work correctly on the Super Game Boy 2. PLD, who's in the chat, can tell you more about that. He's our resident find out everythinger about emulators and systems.
What if all your Game Boy games were PAL? That doesn't matter because PAL and NTSC and Japanese Game Boy games all play at the same speed.
Yeah, correctly.
And there's no region lock or anything, so you can just play every Game Boy card in every Game Boy system ever created.
Yeah, the biggest difference is always for collectors, which is the price range of Game Boy cards. Like 95% of Japanese Game Boy games cost not more than $5. There are not a lot of them that go above the $30 price range either. There are just some games that really cost a lot. Like the first game we played here today, Vanishing Racer, it's a $70 loose card, if you can even find one. It's really rare. Miracle Adventure eSparks, I have yet to even find a single card of that game.
We have Atros jumping into Batman now. Batman is going in blind. I wouldn't say necessarily a hard game until you get to the final stage, more notably 4-2. So throughout this game, you're going to see players breaking open darker blocks compared to the lighter blocks. The darker blocks actually hold items inside of them. Depending on the runner, I believe Atros is going to be aiming to keep what is called the bat gun, which is exactly what it sounds like. It shoots the Batman symbol out of the gun. And you'll see the runners collect power-ups. That is a white box with a gun icon inside of it. this allows you to shoot an extra bullet out of the gun, so ultimately you can shoot faster and kill the bosses quicker. There are quote-unquote power-ups that are a black box with a gun icon inside of it. This, however, reduces the amount of ammo that comes out of the gun, so it slows down your weapon. There are a few different types of guns throughout this game. There is the narrow gun, which shoots a smaller circle, sphere, something, but it can span across the entire screen. However, it will not shoot through walls. There's another called a short gun, which does not span across the entire screen, and also does not go through walls, I don't believe. Then there's the power gun, which is the big spheres that go through walls and span across the entire screen. The wave gun's exactly what it sounds like, and that can go through walls as well. It's a pretty cool game. I think you can take up to like 4 or 5 hits before Batman ultimately dies. Much like Batman in real life, and in the comics, he uses a gun to kill all of his enemies.
True. Yeah, I have no idea why they actually went for a gun in this game. It makes absolutely no sense, but it makes up for a really unique Batman game. It's pretty fun. I guess it's just the minds of Sunsoft. They usually come up with some very crazy ideas when it comes to games. So
the cool thing about Sunsoft, though, is that they have fantastic music in most of their games. This Batman game's music is very reminiscent of the NES Batman that Sunsoft also created as well.
yeah, I think they also made Return of the Joker as well on Game Boy and on NES.
Yeah, I believe so.
But like John Carl said earlier in the Shatter or somewhere else, I don't remember. There are actually 4 Game Boy Batman games. I do not know what the third one is immediately, but there's one called the Animated Series, based on, of course, the Animated Series, which is a really awesome Batman game that everybody should check out, but it's also one of the toughest games on Game Boy.
Yeah, so with Batman's controller mechanics, they are a little weird in this game. Batman is very floaty. When you jump, you can actually get some pretty decent hang time in the air. You'll see Atraz utilize like a ducking type of motion in the air just to get a little further along. So you can dodge some of the enemies. Right now you can see he has the bat gun. So the weird thing about this game also is that the stage 1 boss's name is Jack. I don't know of any Jacks off the top of my head as a Batman villain.
No, it's based on the Michael Keaton movie where the Joker still is just Jack before he falls into the pit.
Yeah. So stage 2, you'd notice that there isn't going to be any bosses at the end. It's when we get into stage 3. Stage 3 is a weird because there's like 3 bosses in stage 3, and it's literally just a shmup.
Yeah, it turns into a shmup.
You will see other icons. Sometimes they might, if you see a blind room, sometimes they'll break a block that might have the bat symbol as a power-up. It's not really a power-up at all. It's just something to give you extra points. It's kind of pointless and useless. Unless you want extra 1-ups.
We switched top left streamer to Zelleray, by the way.
Okido. Yeah, I'm still looking at some girl who was on the final boss earlier, but is back to 3-3 right now. And Zarbi89 is currently fighting the final boss of Ultraman Ball.
Yeah, most of my people are on eSpark still. Looks like Captain Duck is getting there towards the end.
Oh yeah, I totally missed the final boss of eSparks, I'm sorry about that. But I will comment on it when Captain Duck or maybe Gigas is there?
Yeah, Gigas is there.
So the final boss, you will probably not see a lot of him. Yeah, oh, he messed it up, sadly. So the way you have to fight this boss is by shooting his hands and then shooting him in his mouth when he opens it up. The problem with this is that he only opens it up right before he starts doing his lightning attack, which makes this boss fight like 3 minutes long because it almost never happens. So when I was routing this game, I was just messing around with it, and suddenly I ended up on top of the arm, which made me able to shoot the mouth part the very first time he opens it up. And as you're in invincibility frames, you shoot faster, like I said before, which means you can kill him immediately during his first cycle of opening his mouth, which makes this fight 5 seconds long instead of 3 minutes long. It's one of the easiest tricks to pull off. All you have to do is jump into his hand so you're damaged, and then start mashing both the A and B button while holding right, jumping toward his hand, and you will 95% of the time land on top of his hand.
Yep, so Gygas now jumping into Batman while you see Atraz here in the bat plane. I don't know what the actual bat plane is called. You'll see him shoot forward and backward. So, unlike most popular shoot-'em-ups, I believe, this game here you can hit A to shoot forward, B to shoot backward. So you'll have enemies coming from you from both directions. This game is you can hold down the button, I believe, and shoot, but it is faster just to mash. You gotta watch out for flying dead rubber ducks too. So this is the stage I was talking about previously when Atraz first got into Batman. You saw him just fight a UFO-looking thing, which was basically the 3-1 boss. Coming up in 3-2, you'll see him fight essentially two bosses. You'll see them fight a helicopter and a plane. Again, very, very basic boss fights. It's just a matter of just putting bullets into it and just dodging his attacks.
Hey, what's going on, nerds?
Oh my god, it's John Carls.
Hey,
Where did
How
you
you feeling, bud?
I'm slowly dying, but I wanted to join in and say hey to everybody for a bit. It's a fundraiser going on here.
So you can see Atraz taking down the plane. I call it the Shredder plane because the front of the plane looks like Shredder's face from Turtles. So now you see him fighting the helicopter, which its initial attack is kind of reminiscent that of Super Mario Land's final boss, where he shoots out the one big bullet and spreads into 3 different ones. So Atraz is... Go ahead.
I was just going to say I definitely want to second what eBloody said, is this game casually is really, really easy all the way up until stage 4, and then it gets just unbelievably hard. So you'll see Atraz is on that stage now, especially 4-2. It's really difficult casually.
Yeah, so Atraz now in stage 4. Stage 4-1 is not too terribly bad. It's just a lot of platforming. Platforming this game is a little difficult just because of how floaty Batman is when he jumps. But overall, if you have anything that shoots through a wall, 4-1 shouldn't be a big issue. 4-2 introduces the first and only auto-scroller in the game, and that's when things get very difficult for casual players.
Yeah, it's pretty obnoxious. It pushes you across the screen a lot faster than you'd like, and there's some enemies that are just really difficult to avoid taking damage from.
Yeah, he's going into it right now. By the way, the world record for Batman, or Batgun as they call it, has also been beaten by Prissy during practice. He really fell in love with the game during practice. He's sadly not joining us today with our race, but some people who are still around here from the Robot Master tournament might have seen him there.
Yeah, you can see the way this level's designed with these cannons. Casually, it's really hard to not get hit by them. Even some of them, the way they're set up, speedrunning wise, I would assume it's pretty difficult to avoid them. And the screen's constantly forcing you to go forward, obviously. So it's pretty obnoxious, to be honest, and really frustrating when you're trying to beat it for the first time and you've played 15 easy stages and then you get to this point. But
The interesting thing about Batman, though, is that if you can kind of combine some of the tech with Mega Man and Kirby's Dream Land, which is a really weird combination. You can actually stand on one pixel of the edge and not get hit by the turret at all. And much like Kirby's Dream Land, if you remember True Shade fighting against Poppy, which is like the very first stage of the game, if you duck and something comes into you, you have a very, very small hitbox where you won't get damaged, and Batman is very similar, where if you duck, you will not get hurt.
It's also great how it's so true to the comics, where Batman goes around with a gun and just shoots everybody that he sees. So I think that's good.
Yeah, so right now Atros is fighting the Joker. Made very quick work of him. That is the final boss of Batman. So he'll be jumping into Tetris Attack next.
Yeah, we
Atros
cannot
definitely-
say anything about Tetris Attack except that it's Tetris Attack.
Yeah, Atros seems to be on a pretty good pace so far.
Yeah, he's
Definitely
doing
setting
great.
pace. Definitely setting the pace for the race so far. I guess Gigas is behind. Is anybody else anywhere close to? I guess Captain Duck's also on Batman.
Yeah. So I guess one important note to make of Batman. You saw Gygas pick up a Batman head. It's obviously a 1-up, like it is in most retro games. If you game over in Batman, you start from the very beginning of the level. And by the level, I mean the stage. So if he would game over in 2-2, he'd have to start 2-1 over again.
Mm-hmm.
The nice part about it is you get to keep your gun that you currently have when you die. So if Gygas were to game over with the bat gun, he get to keep the bat gun. I believe you get to keep your bullet power-ups as well.
That is correct, yeah. Yeah, Tetris Attack, it's not even Tetris. They actually renamed it to Tetris in America and Europe just because Tetris was so popular. But as you can clearly see, it's a Yoshi puzzle game. And it's similar to the more well-known version of this, which is Pokemon Puzzle something on N64. League? Okay,
League.
yeah. It's the exact same game as that.
You can see in Captain Duck's screen, he has the wave gun right now. Wave gun is probably my favorite weapon in the game, just because it spans across the entire screen. It goes through walls. It is a little hard to aim with, but it's my favorite gun.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah,
I
that's
always
what I
manage
used to
to
love.
lose bad gun, so
I also used the wave gun when I played this casually.
see if Zelleray can do the. No, apparently not.
It's a great sprite though for a Game Boy game. That's a huge.
That's a very good sprite. Yeah.
The Game Boy doesn't really like it though.
No.
Have Infinite Mystery moving on to East Parks now, after him finishing up Ultraman Ball.
Nice.
Alright. Zelleray is on the final. Zarby stage 2. Kirel is on the final boss. Some girl on the internet is paused, apparently, at the third boss of Vanishing Racer. I'm not sure what's going on there, but.
That game's really adorable, by the way. I wasn't
Yeah,
really
it's
fond
a
of this,
fantastic
but
game.
I liked it.
So another neat thing to talk about with Batman 2, I don't know if we talked about this at all, is that there are crits with the bosses.
We did
Kind of, sort of. You can shoot them in the head, which does, I believe, a little bit extra damage, which allows for a faster boss fight. But the hitbox to get that is pretty tight. It's just easier to get the bullet power-ups in the bat gun or the power gun, or the wave gun, and just shoot them in the body.
Any notable strategies for Tetris Attack?
Get good.
You heard it right there.
Because I'm not great at this game.
This is like you can't really learn a game like this. You have to have natural like ability to do these kinds of games. It's really hard to at least on a limited time frame to learn games like these. You really got to see solutions that a lot of people just wouldn't even think about. And it looks like Atros is doing pretty well. He's not making the biggest combos, but he's going through these levels pretty rapidly, I'd say.
Yeah, are we aware of anybody having a strong advantage in this game, though? Maybe that can catch up some time on Atros?
I have no idea.
Yeah, nothing that I know of. Basically, it's just predetermining where to place the blocks. I don't know if like the upcoming blocks are RNG based or if it's a predefined thing. I'm assuming RNG based. So it's just understanding where to make the big combos and how to get the clear line up faster.
Zelleray is now starting off Batman as well. Opting for the jump in the pit strat, which is I would recommend against.
Alright, we have Ace going into the final stage of E-Sparks.
Nice.
Looks like we have Carol in 1-2 of Batman. Guy, I guess, fighting the Shredder plane.
Atros is definitely getting a definitive lead here. There's definitely plenty of games to go, but we know he's practiced quite a bit for this, so it's gonna be hard for the others to catch up, definitely.
Yeah, if there's any, what point in the race do you think maybe people could catch up on Atros if possible, with all of his practice?
Well, I know he has the tailspin world record right now, so that's gonna be hard.
Possibly Mickey's Dangerous Chase, and Chavo.
The majority of these games don't seem to have a heavy amount of RNG, so preparation is definitely a huge advantage. Obviously, there's no not as much of a luck factor as there can be in some races like this.
We try to take out as much luck as possible when doing these, so people that practice actually have a big advantage, which they should. There's always Pokemon at the end where getting, well, you could lose pretty much 5 minutes or something on Pokemon by random factor, but...
Yeah.
Giga's about to enter that dreaded 4-2 stage. See how he handles those cannon turrets.
So yeah, with Tetris Attack, you'll see that flashy dotted line up here. You basically just want to get every block below that. You don't even need to make a pattern once below that dotted line. You just need to get every block below it to move on to the next stage or sub-stage.
What was the goal for Tetris Attack?
Goal is to clear 2-5.
So Atros coming up on that.
Yep, so once you see stage clear on 2-5, he'll be moving on to Mickey's Dangerous Chase, which is a full run.
So he's essentially a full game ahead, which is pretty substantial, obviously.
So Guy is doing the dreaded 4-2 right now with the bat gun, so he has a good gun going into the stage.
Yeah, he's handling this pretty well. Looks like he's going to get through just fine. Still has full health and everything.
So you can see Carol doing some jump shots. Oh, you can't see, I guess, but Carol's doing some jump shots right now, trying to hit Jack in the head. Remember what I said a little bit ago about some of the crit shots? So the Joker and Jack, if you shoot them in the head, you can do extra damage to them. But like I said, it's a very, very small hitbox, and it's just ultimately easier to shoot them in the body with a fast power-up.
I love that villain Jack.
So yeah, Atros starting Mickey's Dangerous Chase, which kind of resembles Chippendale for the NES, if people are more familiar with that game. You have the same mechanic where you can pick out boxes and throw them.
Yeah, sadly, it's the poor man's Chippendale.
It's a fun game, though, nonetheless, and we'll get to see a haunted house to get up with the spooky theme for Halloween.
Plus, the running animation's pretty awesome. I mean, really power walking there.
Yeah, this is the most hated game in this race by people who have been practicing. The first 3 stages are pretty simple to get through, but starting from stage 4 it gets pretty tough if you are not familiar with the hitboxes on Mickey, and even the levels themselves are getting a little bit more convoluted. They also give a nice shout out to Vanishing Racer during stage 4-3.
I guess,
Stage had a
kill the Joker movement onto Tetris Attack.
We'll take a damage boost in the first stage of Mickey to skip some of that, to skip a jump there. So there's some sort of attack going on here. That's good.
Looks like Atros is collecting as many stars as possible to get extra lives.
Maybe
That's
playing
always
it all safe.
always a good idea in that game.
The stage with these fish is like terrible. The hitboxes are so weird here.
I wonder if he does know if that he has a decent lead, or if he's one of those kind of runners who doesn't want to know. If he does know that he has a decent lead, he might be taking some safer strats to try and ensure no major mistakes coming up.
I think he knows he's on a very good pace right now. Like the estimates after seeing people practice this game were all below 2 hours and 30 minutes, some even below 2 hours and 15 minutes. So, yeah, the people who actually trained for this are gonna have a really decent time to finish this entire marathon.
Yeah, so you'll notice at the end of the stages in Mickey's dangerous chase, Goofy somehow manages to get ahead of Mickey no matter what. So clearly Goofy is the ultimate runner of this game.
Damn Goofy.
Looks like Atros was definitely faster in clearing these stages than Gygas right now.
Yeah, Gygas was probably, how do you say it? If you had to place a bet, you would bet on him.
Oh,
For sure, because he was a really good time that he had during practice. But yeah, Atros is definitely killing it.
Still can't rule anyone out yet, though. There's still
Nope.
half a list left, so...
So Gygas had a better time going into this?
I believe
from
so.
Oh,
But
wow.
Atros had been stealing a lot of world records, like we said earlier, so some games he might be a little bit more familiar with.
This game actually looks a lot of fun.
so small question to chat. What's your favorite color Yoshi?
Which is the one that lets you, in Super Mario World, get, isn't there one that can use all of the shells?
I don't
I don't
know.
know enough about SMW.
Aren't you one of the people who
Blue.
runs that game?
I ran it for like 2 days,
I put 2 runs into the game.
and it wasn't a category that utilized that.
Yeah, I ran 11 exit.
Blue Yoshi always flies with his shell. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Pink Yoshi is my favorite.
I like Yarn Yoshi.
But what color yarn?
Woolly.
Woolly.
Woolly
I
Yoshi.
never played that game.
There's
but it looks
so
good.
many colors in Yarn Yoshi though.
I'm colorblind and I find this question offensive.
There's also patterns, so don't worry about it.
I'm also pattern blind.
Oh, that I'm
that even a
truly
thing?
sorry.
So we have Captain Duck going through 4-2 of Batman with ease, with a lot of upgrades to his wave gun. So Joker should not be an issue at all.
Yeah, Kiral is at the end of stage 2 in Batman. Zarby is at stage 4 of E-Sparks. Some girl is still having a break, apparently. I don't know what's going on there.
We have Ace doing the final boss of E-Sparks, not knowing that he can jump on top of the arm. So this is going to be a fairly long fight for him.
Yeah,
Peachon's taking a death in the middle of 3-1, so he's going to have to redo a big chunk of that level, so fairly decent
Looks like
mistake.
Smart Alec is in the final stages of E-Sparks as well.
Now, is there anything notable about Mickey's Dangerous Chase, or is it just go left or right to the end of the level?
Yeah, basically.
Just go right.
It reminds me of a mix between, like you said, Chip and Dale and then MC Kids,
MC Kids.
which is a great game.
You don't get to make references like that every day.
Yeah, there's nothing really noticeable about Mickey's Dangerous Chase. It's a pretty mediocre platformer. And yeah, it gets tougher right after, right at stage 4. The final level, which you will see, is a total bullshit level because there's just things that you cannot dodge at all. So you would have to know where to get extra hearts to replenish your energy, or you're never gonna make it. And 5-2 is an auto-scroller where you have to climb a building. And the problem with the level is that some of the ways you can go actually lead up to a dead end. And then you die, yeah. And you have to redo 5-1.
So anybody playing blind might run into some issues there.
Yeah.
Obviously.
The biggest thing I can say is stay to the right as most as you can. There's 2 parts where you have to jump to the left, but otherwise staying to the right is the best way to go through stage 5-2.
Yeah, Atro's still having a really decent lead, but he did die in 3-1. It probably cost him about a minute, so maybe a little bit of a chance for Gygas to catch up a little. Still pretty far behind, though.
Fun fact about the stage that Atroz is on, if you are too high up on the screen and you jump to the next bird, you can actually kill yourself.
Oh, kill plane on top of the screen, huh?
Yep. I found that out my first playthrough of the game.
And we're 1 hour in. And Atros is well over halfway, so...
Yep.
I would have raced in this, but I would have already been done by an hour. I didn't want everyone to feel bad, so
Same.
just sat this one out. After pulling my last place finish last Tiny Tin.
You didn't forfeit, so...
That's all that matters.
Well, I didn't know I was running until we went live, so... I was supposed to just be doing commentary,
That's true.
but...
That was not the best edition we had.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when it comes to actual people joining.
I was doing commentary, restreaming, and playing, so...
Yeah.
I was watching.
That's true. We only raced to Brock in Pokemon. The initial goal was beat Misty, but it would have been a little bit too long, especially for blind runners. We always try to get some good goals in so that even blind runners don't take half a day to complete the game list. It would have been more interesting for sure to play until Misty, but yeah, we sadly had to cut that goal a little bit.
It does seem that Gygas is going through Tetris Attack a decent bit slower than Atroz was, so
Yeah,
it's probably widening.
I don't know why it's taking so long because I've seen him practicing and usually this goes.
Oh,
by
and another death by Atroz in stage 4-2.
yeah, it's
4-2
still-
is tough. And the
Struggling
move
a
that-
little bit with Mickey.
4-2 is tough because the wheel platforms move you around, so if you're not paying much attention, you could get thrown into a spike. And
Yeah,
3
that
hits
looks
with Mickey and you're done.
That looks like what's exactly what happened. Yeah, he's taken a couple deaths in Mickey, so struggling a little bit, but I think his lead so far is pretty safe, especially if Gygas is going slower through Tetris Attack. Possibly a chance for Captain Duck to catch up to Gygas if...
Yeah, well, I guess just finished it though. No.
Oh, there you go.
We get to see Mickey in glorious green and more green.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I hate that color.
Right.
Even as someone who's colorblind, I know that I hate it.
That's true, PLD. He's really killing it.
Yeah,
Fun fact, this
Atroz
time-
recently been destroying some of GB games we've been playing. It's actually been really fun to watch him play.
Yeah, not only games in Tiny 10, just Game Boy games in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been nice seeing the community grow over the last few years and people running more and more Game Boy games.
Definitely over the last,
Less
like, I'd
than-
say 2 months.
Yeah, it's been
Yeah.
really well.
With our Game Boy Discord up, people are like gradually joining and being more interested in a whole variety of different Game Boy games. So
And there's several people doing the challenge to try and beat all the Game Boy games, which is also cool. So just a lot more Game Boy attention than used to be.
It looks like we got Smart Alec and Ace basically just starting up Batman now.
Is anybody doing this completely blind? Do we know?
Yeah, a lot of people actually.
Yeah, I think
Which
half,
runners?
half the
So-
entrants were.
Some girl on the internet, especially, is having a lot of trouble. She's still taking a break. I don't know what what she's doing.
She's
but
on a break.
I don't know. At 8 o'clock for me, which was 25 minutes ago. So maybe something came up. I don't know.
Yeah, we got Captain Duck cleared 1-5, going into round 2 now for Tetris Attack.
Does somebody want to link the Game Boy Discord in the chat?
Yeah, PLD can probably do that.
I believe in him.
Soon you will not be will not have to ask anybody about the Discord link, as I'm actually making a website about Game Boy speedrunning in the background right now, which you can find on gbrunners.com. The site is actually up, but it's just a landing page. I did put a Discord link on there, but I was an idiot and forgot that unless you click that they have to be permanent, they expire in half an hour. So right now the link is not working, but I will put on the correct link tomorrow or after this race even.
Yeah, so you can see Atroz here climbing the building. This is by far the sketchiest level if you've never played this game before.
Guy is clearly cheating with all the color.
Yeah, I mean, he clearly has an advantage right now.
Yeah. Yeah, this level does not look fun.
Yeah,
It is.
so with Mickey, you notice the stars in the bottom part. If they collect 100 stars, they get a 1-up. So
Some of those jumps are pretty tight.
yeah, so when Mickey is jumping at the block, so like if he's jumping and it's one block too high, you can actually grab the block from the side, and Mickey will hang in the air for a little bit, and you can actually get on top of the platform. Most
Looks like
times.
Atroz taking an intentional death at the beginning of the level to refill his health.
Yeah, there's no
So
refills in the final stage before you fight Pete, and there are ways to kill him by damage boosting, but it's pretty tough because you get thrown all over the place when he hits you. Like the first time I ran this game, I actually managed to defeat him by just spamming the attack button right next to the box, but in other playthroughs I just couldn't do it anymore.
Yeah, it seems clear Mickey didn't really take care of Pete because he reappears in a Goof Troop game later on at the SNES, so...
Atroz going on to Tailspin now.
Yep, Tailspin.
Ugh.
what a massacred port of a good NES game.
Yeah.
A good NES game, wow.
I have
know
the world
about that.
record, so don't.
That. I do not like this game.
Really?
Yeah,
It's
it's
a-
hard to control. It's weird. It's just, maybe if I got used to it.
Yeah, they're not your regular shoot 'em up controls for sure.
Yeah.
Because you have to like tilt your plane to shoot downwards or upwards. You can also turn back your plane and fly backwards through the levels, which is a very weird mechanic, but it comes into play against the fort boss fight mostly. Otherwise, you will never use the turning around, except for maybe the vertical parts if you want to shoot to the left side of the stages. But it's a really easy shoot 'em up. You do not have infinite continues, but you can buy more if you want to.
Microtransactions.
Yeah, you can also buy upgrades for your plane. One which is completely useless, being the engine part, which makes you go faster. But the initial speed of your plane in the Game Boy version is already fast enough to dodge anything, so it's a complete waste of time. What you want to get after the first stage is your first weapon upgrade, which makes you shoot 2 bullets at once. And after the second stage, you can get the other upgrade, so you can shoot 3 bullets at once. And the thing is, none of the bosses have invincibility frames, so you can just spam them to that.
Now, is there a significant amount of lag reduction involved in this game? Like many shooters?
like
You kill enemies, probably.
Yeah, I would not. Like, if you're playing this blind, just shoot everywhere you go, and you will have no problem progressing. But it's recommended to just shoot the enemies when they appear, just to save some frames here and there. Also, try not to pick up anything after stage 2, because you always get a score counting screen at the end of a stage, and having less pickups reduces the time by like maybe 1 or 2 seconds each time, so that always helps.
Did you end up figuring out all the perfects on the first stages?
No, I still haven't figured out if maybe it is possible to get enough money on the first stage by getting a perfect to buy the second weapon upgrade immediately, which would save a considerable amount of time on the second boss for sure.
I really need to look into this game. I said I would, but I didn't in the end.
Nobody has figured it out so far.
Because I know how the perfects work in the NES game. You basically pick up everything, the
hidden ones. Yeah.
all the hidden ones as well. So
we haven't been able to locate them all for now.
They're in really weird spots in the NES game as well.
Yeah, I only know of one of them in the first stage, so.
Because a perfect gives you 10,000 extra score in the NES game.
Yeah, it might be enough, but I kinda doubt it. Really.
Also an awesome cartoon if you never saw it from back in the day. I used to love this cartoon.
It's pretty good, yeah.
Don't play the Genesis version though. It's not very good. It's platformer, but yeah.
It's a platformer.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, Atros did the second boss, but I'll come back to it when somebody else is playing it, I guess. I kind of missed that.
It's a platformer, and you never guess what your weapon is. It's
A
like
wrench.
No, it's do you know those table tennis pallets where your ball is attached to the pallet with like a rubber string?
Yeah.
That's your weapon.
Yeah.
That's an interesting choice for a weapon.
Interesting.
Yeah, a lot of people do not like shoot 'em ups, but I would recommend checking out some of them. There are plenty of really great ones on the Game Boy, honestly.
I'm a big fan of Burai Fighter Deluxe, personally. Actually,
Yeah, that's
pretty underrated.
Also, a very original take on the shoot 'em up genre, for sure.
I am the only person to ever speedrun that, so somebody should definitely hop on that. Also, Nemesis is good, and R-Type is good too.
Yeah. And some of the lesser known ones, like Sagaya, is a Japanese one. What's the English? Darius Twins, I believe. But it only came out in Japan, that one. But that's also a really, really great one.
The correct term for that toy is a paddle ball.
A paddle ball.
Kyuketsu.
There you go.
Well, sometimes you gotta watch out for the paddle ball. Atra's still the only one on Tailspin with a pretty significant lead going here.
Yeah, as you can see, all the bosses can be... well, the third boss can be
Spammed.
killed before he even actually does something. The fourth boss is a different kind of boss, though, which you will see very shortly.
In the NES version, the bosses actually have like 5 seconds of delay between hits. So
Damn.
they're hard.
Yeah, I always liked the NES game for sure, but I do know I had a lot of trouble with the Ghost House level in that one, and
Yeah, definitely.
that one is not in this game.
The NES game is infinitely harder than this.
So I think the question everybody in chat and watching has to ask is, when is Barbie Game Girl going to be included in the Tiny Toon?
That's the question I want to know.
Yeah.
Well, maybe next time. I think we also have to do Jurassic Park. Seeing
Jurassic
that
Park. That's the hot new speed game now.
yeah, indeed. So I think
World record happened this morning, actually.
Yeah.
You have to do Mega Man 5.
Adam's Family, any percent?
Any percent. Well, that's the problem with that game. That's the blind runners would be like.
It would
What
take
is
5
happening?
hours.
Yeah, so that's not a good game to choose, sadly.
I would say just do Barbie Game Girl 10 times in a row and see who wins, personally, but that's just my... Oh, Zelleray dying after getting the last hit on the boss. I think
That
they
is.
have to refight.
Yep.
So just an update for everybody. We got Captain Duck doing Mickey. We have Smart Alex doing Batman Stage 3. Ace, pardon me, doing Batman Stage 3. They are basically neck and neck right now. We have Carol
Yeah.
doing Tetris Attack right now on Stage 2-4. We have Infinite Mystery doing some E-Sparks. Looks like he might be towards the endish. Gygus doing some Mickey. Atraz doing Tailspin, obviously.
Yeah, Zarby's on the final boss of E-Sparks, and some girl is still on hiatus.
Oh, okay, so she might have thrown in the towel.
I don't think she has. She just said in chat, as far as I can see, be right back, but it has been 36 minutes now.
That'll give you a big time loss there on your splits
Yeah.
when you take a 36-minute break.
Handicap. She's just going to surprise us all later on.
Yeah.
Skimming through the games like crazy.
So someone asked in chat who's in first place. Atraz is currently leading the pack right now. They have a pretty commanding lead in front of everyone. I would say second place would be Gygus, third would be Captain Duck, and that what I can tell, fourth is Carol.
Carol,
We
yeah.
should probably update the top left screen
Yeah,
to
Yeah.
somebody
Carol.
closer to Mickey. Since
I'll update to
Celeray's at the
Carol.
beginning.
Yeah,
Yep.
update to Carol. They're on 2-5 right now.
Yeah, Atros is going so fast that I even missed the fourth boss, which I was gonna talk about. The problem with that boss is he is like a twin plane, so two guys are on screen, and you can only hit them when they're combined into one. It's pure RNG when he's gonna do it. If you're lucky enough, you can get a 2 cycle, but sometimes it can take more than 8 cycles as well. But yeah, he's going to the final quote-unquote boss right now, which is absolutely a joke. Just watch and see.
He's just shooting off the propellers. Is that it?
Yep.
Oh my god.
So now Atraz is off the Tiny Toon Adventures Bab's Big Break, which this
Good game.
goal is to beat Stage 3 in the Japanese version. The biggest difference aside from text speed, obviously, is continues. The Japanese version has unlimited continues in this game, while the American version you have 2 continues in this game.
And another difference is that you start with 3 hearts instead of 2 hearts in the Japanese version. And I was gonna say something else, but I already forgot.
Everybody always thinks that the American versions are dumbed down, but there are definitely a significant number of games where they're actually more difficult, the American version versus the Japanese, so it's not always a set rule.
Yeah, it's very much the case in Game Boy. I would say most Game Boy games that get ported over to American or NTSC are harder than the Japanese counterpart.
I was
you'll
gonna
s-
say
oh, go ahead.
about Tiny Toons. I put the cutoff after stage 3. This game only has 4 stages, but I was still thinking about the American version when I was kind of coming up with the goal for this. As the final stage boss is pretty tough blind, especially. It's easy to die on him, and as the American version does not have infinite continues, I put the goal at end of stage 3, so you wouldn't have to replay the entire game just because of that last boss. But yeah, we could easily have done the full game for the Japanese version.
Yeah, it's a
Montana
fun
Max
game.
is a jerk.
It's one of those games where you can switch between the different tunes, depending on the stage, right? From what I remember playing it.
Yep, so you can jump between Buster, Plucky, and Hampton. They all shoot different projectiles, so Buster shoots carrots, Hampton shoots the melons, I believe, and Plucky shoots the pineapples. They all have a different pattern or path rather that they take when you throw them. Buster has an arcing carrot which literally hits nothing. The melons are like a bowling ball type thing. I forgot how the pineapples fly.
The pineapple goes down first and then upwards in an angle, which I thought was the preferred way to run this game, but apparently it's Buster only, which is a funny name because of Mega Man.
That is funny.
So you'll see Atros here during the first quote-unquote boss battle.
Mhm.
So you just want to feed Dizzy. So you get a plethora of fish, some chicken legs, and some spiky things that hurt you.
Looks like the sea urchins hurt you, but Dizzy loves them.
What? I did not even know that. That is very interesting, actually. That is a great way to finish this game.
So as Tiny Toons continues on Atroz's screen, they'll get the levels will get a bit more maze-like, you can say. A lot of this game is just memorizing where your Toon friends are. So in this stage here, I forgot the cat's name already, but we gotta go find the cat and do a little mini game for him.
The parts where you get to control your Toon friends are very hard in this game. You literally get a 20-second cutscene and it's over. And it feels like you're playing, but you're not.
I would just like to say, Starvin Struthers, the legend, John Rassick Park 2 world record holder now in chat.
Oh, wait, he beat other blues already?
Yeah, this morning.
Congrats to him.
I'm gonna take it later.
I'm about to take it first.
The hottest new speed game.
Are you gonna
everybody can check it out.
Are you gonna take Tiny 10 for record later as well?
Tiny 10.5 Barbie Game Girl times 10 is gonna be the one I'm gonna be in.
When is Trip World in every portable marathon? It was in the last one, I think. Or...
We had Trip World and Tiny 10 number 2.
Trip World's awesome.
I dislike that game a lot.
Well, I dislike you.
Trip World is amazing. Please, right now.
Yes, please, right now. Immediately.
It's more adorable than Kirby.
Oh, I do not have anything against the music in that game, the graphics of that game. I think they're all amazing. I just don't feel like it's a game. It's... Nothing can hurt you unless you're an idiot, except for the bosses. I don't know, I just really dislike it as an actual game. But apart from that, it's probably one of a masterpiece both in art form and music form.
Yeah, so what I believe Mangro said earlier was that here you can see the cat just kind of crawling through things and waiting for the fire to go past. It looks like Atros is playing this part, but he literally has probably just put down his controller and went to go get something to drink.
Yep. It's
this
just
is a
cutscene.
cutscene.
Probably the most frustrating part about playing this game casually, that you don't get to play those sections.
Wait, this part right now?
No. When he was the cat.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah. You're
not controlling.
It's a cutscene. You're
Forgot
not
about
controlling anything.
I've beaten this game before. I forgot about that.
So the part that Atros is on now, you'll see some muscly guys walking through here, but the most dangerous part of this level, in my opinion, are the frogs that fly out of the boxes. They're a little scary sometimes, but they're probably the trickiest thing to get past because of the arcing thing and when they're gonna get triggered to come out.
I hate when I'm walking on top of a train and then there's a bunch of frogs hopping out of boxes. Worst.
Yeah, it's literally the worst, especially when you get these guys that clearly skipped leg day coming after you
definitely
too.
skip leg day. We should ban Momo.
So Atros is going into the stage 2 boss right now, which is the security dog in Tiny Toons, if you've ever watched the cartoon. They're on a basketball court. He talks about, I forgot what he talked about, but you basically want to hit him when he's flexing and standing still. When he's moving and flexing, you can't do any damage to him. If he catches you, he'll turn you into a ball and throw you into a hoop.
Yeah, this fight always reminds me of the Wario Land 2 fight, where you actually have to make the other guy into a basketball and score 3 points.
He runs around like Rocksteady from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game.
You mean the
it's
Teenage Mutant
imitation.
Hero Turtles?
Yeah.
Hero Turtles, yeah.
Another
So-
reason why PAL is horrible.
So stage 3 now, the guys that skipped leg day are back and they're hitting trees to knock down the spike balls, or if you play Kirby, the Gordos, to do some damage to Buster. Pretty easy to get past, just basically just walk past and jump over him. This one here is basically like another haunted level in the game. We're going to clear, I think her name was Fifi or Fi-Fi or something like that, which was the skunk in the cartoon.
Yeah, Fifi.
I would say from my experience, this is the best Tiny Toons game on the Game Boy.
Yeah, I've not played the other ones
I
yet.
haven't played the other one.
Wacky Sports is more wacky than sports, and Montana is not a great game, so
He's not
Yeah,
a
we-
great character in general.
yeah.
So this is where the game can get a little maze-like. The free Fifi, you have to hit 2 switches, and I believe you have to hit them in a certain order. So the first one, you literally have to basically go up into the atmosphere and walk on some clouds to hit one. The other one, you're gonna venture in through some more of the spooky forest that we have here to free her. She has by far probably the best cutscene in my opinion, though.
Definitely the top 2 runners separating themselves from the rest of the pack at this point. Atros and Gygas. Seem pretty set for 1-2 finished unless something crazy happens.
Indeed.
We have Smart Alec here fighting the Joker now in the Batmans. We have Ace doing some attacking of Tetrises. Captain Duck doing the Mickeys. Carol doing the Mickeys. Gygas doing the Tailspin. Infinite Mystery doing the Batmans now.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Is it Infinite playing blind?
Batman.
What was the question?
Is Infinite playing blind?
Not
Infinite
really.
put some practice in, but I know he had a lot of issues with Batman 4-2 in his practices. So.
I just know he likes to do these kind of things blind pretty often.
Yeah. Some girl is returning shortly, but still on Banishing Racer, of course.
He's been one of the brave people to do the Big 20 blind and try and finish it over
So
long amounts of stream.
as Tremaine pointed out in chat, Fifi basically farts on the trees and they go away.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a weird thing in life.
The best cutscene in any video game. So Atros here making his way towards the stage 3 boss here. These smashers, if you do get smashed, you get turned into a pancake, but it's not an instant kill like in some video games. The smasher timings can be a little weird. They are a little fast for some parts of it, but they should be easily passable.
Tremaine's right. It should have been Mega Man 2 Game Boy instead of.
We had that one during the first Portable Marathon.
Yeah, we've already played bad Game Boy Mega Man games.
I love that fork in the
bad?
Tiny Toons.
I never noticed the fork until
The
now.
fork is so good.
Where's the fork?
In the final part of stage 3, as you keep walking down the long corridor of candles, there's a fork like towards the middle.
Really? Okay. We'll
How
to
have you
check
not
that.
noticed this while playing?
Nope.
How?
Traz misses the quick kill for the stage 3 boss. So the stage 3 boss is a haunted knight in armor, where he will either throw his head off, which is the first attack he'll do, and then if he has to attack again, his legs will start walking around. There is a quick kill where you can jump on his head immediately, like Atros is doing now. It takes, 6 hits on the head to kill it?
Yeah, I think so.
So on the third cycle, Atros took out the third boss of Tiny Toons. That's not bad. So he'll be moving on to Chavo 55 now.
He should probably reset.
Not wrong.
Yeah, he's already up to Chalvo 55. Super puzzle action. Another Japanese-only game.
I have legitimately no idea what this game. I just want to make that clear.
You guys in chat will notice that this game will be similarly reminiscent to that of Ultraman Ball. However, this game is very puzzle-based. You have to collect all the crystals in the stage.
Yeah, 5 crystals in each stage, so you can go to the exit.
How did Tremaine get talking about?
This will probably be the roughest of the games for people blind, I'd say.
Yeah, it might take a while to get through the levels. The good thing is, it's not a tough game, it's just hard to figure out where to go the first time playing it. But once you know it, you should go past it pretty easily. This is one of the games that did not have a world record or run or anything. A lot of people have been trying to route this game in the background, but none of them finished so far. This game has like 9 stages, I think. But yeah, people are putting work into it, and it's a very chill game. It's not that hard.
The goal for this is just to get through World 3.
Yeah.
So what makes this puzzly? Like which way to go in the maze, or?
The first few stages don't have that many actual puzzles in them. Stage 3 is the first one that introduces an actual tough puzzle to be able to progress, but as you move on from stage 4, stage 5, stage 6, it becomes a lot more intricate to even figure out how to get through one room,
You
let
basically,
alone through the entire game.
from what I've seen, you push boxes in a specific order, and then that allows you to progress through the level, or through the specific room, right?
And there's no other games on the Game Boy that make you push boxes, right?
No, none.
Nothing. There's not one thing.
I cannot think of any game that makes you push boxes around.
It appears you can switch between 2 forms.
Yeah, you're usually in the ball form, but in the ball form you can only break blocks, while your normal robot form, I assume it is, or spacesuit, makes you able to push things.
Also, you can only walk when you're not in ball form. If you're in ball form, you will always bounce, and if there's spikes above, you will hit the spikes.
Oh. PLD pointing out a cool fact that this game came out in '97, which is a very, very late Game Boy release.
That is true.
I mean, like, we're talking, like, getting towards the end of PlayStation 1 era, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So Atros finishes the first boss of Chavo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the bosses are not particularly hard in this game.
Yeah, everybody in chat being very much confirming there are no games with boxes on them in the on the Game Boy library.
Indeed.
So not one person could think of one because there isn't. So.
Sad. Very sad.
So in Chavo, there are a couple of things to be aware of. There's springs that obviously push you up higher. The go signs, unlock the way to the next zone. But you'll see these little balls, little flashing balls down there. You need to be careful of those. I call them the black holes because they'll suck you in and kill you.
Mm-hmm.
There are little like warp zone type things. So if you ever play Super Meat Boy, you can get warped into a different area of the level.
Yeah, there are also hidden rooms throughout each stage, usually having a 1-up, nothing else than that. You can usually find them if you see a break in a wall, and you can use your normal guy to push through the wall and get in there. You will not be seeing any of them in an actual speed run, of course, because they're usually far out of the way and get you nowhere.
Yeah, it's a very unique looking game.
Mm-hmm.
Also a very weird name.
Well,
Like
wait
Shalvo 55 sounds like it's probably a shooter, just because it has a
Yeah.
weird name and a number in it.
But it's
So you-
it's
you can-
Shalvo 55 The Great Puzzle Adventure.
Well, that changes everything, doesn't it?
So you saw that Atros there put a block basically on the last pixel before it would drop down on that screen. The game, when in ball form, utilizes physics just like Ultraman Ball did, and you basically have to use momentum to your advantage to get across bigger gaps and jump higher.
Now, I have a question for you guys about Tiny Toons. There's this part that Gygas just was at where he has to play like hide and seek with the cat. Is there a set way of knowing which place the cat is in, or do you have to guess?
You can see where he is right before the light turns off.
Yeah, I wouldn't mention that right now because we're having a picnic.
A picnic?
The stream is offline.
I'm live.
Mine's not.
Yeah, it's Twitch probably then.
Yeah, I see it live.
That's weird.
Some people are picnicking in chat.
Yeah, for me it's offline.
Well, I'm not refreshing, so. So yeah, to answer your question about the cat thing, so there's a couple ways. You can, when he jumps towards the garbage can, you can tell by the length of his jump where he's going to be. Also, you can also see where he's going to be right before the lights go out.
Okay.
I think so.
I remember casually playing that, not seeing how to, and when I was thinking about it as a speedrun, I thought that would be an inconvenience, but it's good to know that there's a way to actually know.
There are fun little speed games, mini games in Tiny Toons. Like you can race against Beep Beep or whatever the Roadrunner name is. You can race against the bird. You can also play Whack-A-Mole.
Yep.
Obviously, you don't want to do this in the speedrun, but they are kind of fun to play.
Yeah.
But the cat one you have to do.
Yeah, the cat minigame you have to do.
Yeah. It's good to know that there's a way to solve that. Gygas now on the train with the leg day skippers and the frogs. Getting close to the end of Tiny Toons.
Yeah. Zello Ray on 3-1 of Batman. Same goes for Zarby. And some girl on the internet is still having a break.
And Captain Duck now starting Tailspin, or the middle of Tailspin, I should say.
Middle of Tailspin. We have Smart Alec doing some Tetris Attack. Just started up stage 2. We have Ace doing up 2-4 right now in Tetris Attack. Carol fighting Pete right now in Mickey. And we have Gygas fighting the security dog in Tiny Toons.
Carol fighting Pete with one heart, so see how that goes.
Yep, and we have Atros here doing stage 2 boss right now in Chavo.
Just playing it a bit safe.
And he'll be going on to stage 3.
Yep, and there we go. Carol gets a kill.
Yeah, Jesus.
There's a couple people beating some games here.
So Carol on to Tailspin now. I think the only fun thing about Tailspin that I enjoyed was I can fly upside down. I otherwise did not enjoy the game, personally.
It is not your typical game, yeah. You're either for it or against it for sure.
It's like the communism of video games.
Yeah.
What?
I don't really know what that means. I'm just gonna move on.
So Infinite Mystery right now doing stage 3 in Batman, just mashing A and B, shooting both forward and front, cover both ends of the plane. Not a bad tactic. That's what I typically do when I play this game too.
Mm-hmm. That's a good strat.
Atros seeming to play this game really well. I haven't seen him make any real mistakes.
Nah, he's
So it's just probably extending his lead even further.
yeah.
Possibly
Like
getting a sub 2 hour, I would think.
He actually,
Pretty impressive.
like, watching his run, he found some tech to skip those rooms you actually have to do puzzles in. So, yeah, he has definitely been practicing a lot and figuring this game out.
Looks like Captain Duck just lost one of his sea ducks.
Ooh, as I say that, Altros takes a death, but it looks like he only lost a couple seconds from it.
Yeah, we have Gygas freeing Fifi right now, so we'll get to see Fifi fart on some more trees.
Yay. Remember to look at the fork. when he pops up.
Oh yeah, the fork.
I'll try and put it out.
I don't get it. Well, I don't.
There's a
just missed
fork,
something.
and you have to find it.
There's a fork in stage 3 of Tiny Toons.
Many people in chat pretending that Mega Man 2 Game Boy isn't the best Mega Man.
It's not Mega Man 5 is.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people see.
It's Mega Man 4.
Or DWR. That's a pretty good one too.
Oh,
I actually think 3 is the worst one.
yeah.
3 is the hardest.
The hardest for sure.
2 is my favorite, but it's not the best. But it's the best. Please ban John Carlos. That's fair. That's just a good policy in general, not just for this.
Yeah, so Atros is in the room where you actually have to be a puzzle boy for once. The good thing is you're supposed to use 4 of these things, so you use 3 of the normal platforms and the jump thing. Oh, he's actually going to do it. The way he set it up right now, you can just jump from that block to the go block and back, actually. You do not have to put the spring there. Or you can even replace the 3rd block with the spring if you want.
So to progress in each level, do you need to get all of the go blocks?
No, that's to open the way to the next room.
Okay.
There's 5 crystals spread out through the entire stage that you have to get, and then there's like 2 devil blocks right in front of the boss room. And if you get
Fork
all
time.
those, okay, fork time.
Where's the fork? is
Watch
very
guy
important.
gets the screen here.
This is very
Walking
important.
down the corridor. And fork action.
I'm not there yet. Oh,
Okay,
that's so random.
that's really random. Yeah.
It's a bit loony.
It is.
So Atraz here fighting the World 3 boss, trying to hit that button, but the little piston things are denying him a little bit.
Yeah, it's a particular timing you need to have for that, but it's like every boss in this game, not particularly hard to get through.
No, it's pretty easy. So
Pretty poor decision by this boss to just have a button right above his head that kills him.
Yeah.
so Atraz here clearing World 3 of Chavo, be moving on to Pokemon Blue.
And that's usually a 10-minute thing if he
So
gets
this-
lucky.
So this Pokemon thing is pretty hidden gem on the Game Boy. Do you want to
Yeah,
tell us a little bit
never-
about it for people who
never heard
don't
of
know about it? Something about dinosaurs, right?
I only thought it was a mobile app.
Oh, did they make this game off the mobile app? Or?
They must have.
Pokemon OG.
So what kind of strategies could we expect to see here for a Brock only run through here?
Well, the first thing is pure RNG basis. If you win the fight against your rival at the start of the game or not, which is basically praying for critical hits. That makes you level up immediately. What you want to do next is do only 1 fight against a random Pokemon you find in the grass, then progress to Viridian Forest, fight the trainer right at the end, the only one you can dodge, and then you should be level 8, which gets you the bubble for Squirtle,
Mhm.
and
So
then
you start with
can-
Squirtle.
Then you just
Yeah.
destroy.
and
Brock.
then you just destroy Brock. If you want to play it a little bit more safe, because there might be, there might be the possibility of Brock using Bite and you missing an attack, which will destroy Squirrel in 1 hit. If you wanted to play it a little bit more safe, you can fight one of the other trainers in Viridian Forest, which will get you up to level 9 or 10 even, and then it's just yeah, he can't do anything against you anymore.
You might wonder why we wouldn't pick Bulbasaur, for example, because Grass is also strong against Rock, right? Well, Bulbasaur only learns a Grass attack at level 14, I believe. And before that, it's completely hopeless.
Yep, exactly.
And Charmander just don't even think about it.
So
Kids-
smart Alec here finish up the attack of Tetrises and going on to Batman.
So I'm not allowed to think about starting with Charizard.
Kids who picked Charmander were in a bad position.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why would you pick Charmander? Bulbasaur.
Exactly,
Okay,
Bulbasaur.
Squirtle's usually who I start with. Going up
Yeah,
against...
I always go with the water type Pokemon in every game, and I don't care what anybody says, but I like the new starter, Poplio, the water starter. I know he's been getting a lot of hate, but I wish he
haven't
would get some
played.
more love.
I haven't
I
played a
love it.
Pokemon game since Pokemon Yellow.
Yeah, I haven't played one since Blue, except for Pokemon Go.
Oh, yeah, I suppose Pokemon Go.
I do love me some Pokemon Go. So it looks like he did actually beat the trainer, right?
Yeah, he won.
So he's good. So that's good RNG, right?
That is, yeah. I don't know if he had any crits. I wasn't.
But you said you can lose that fight. So
You can lose that fight.
If you
yeah.
pick Bulbasaur, you can definitely lose that fight.
Captain Duck just finishing off the very difficult final boss of Tailspin, moving on to Tiny Toon Adventures.
Infinite Mystery here, finishing up Stage 3 in Batman and moving on to Stage 4.
Uh-oh. The stage 4 of death.
Zello Ray is still on stage 3-1 of Batman. Zarby is at, I think, at least, yeah, he's at 4-1. He just died on 4-2. And some girl is still having a break.
Bad time for the break. Some girl on the internet, bad time for the
Stage
break.
1 of Chalvo, moving on to Stage 2.
Time for the comeback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems
About
pretty. As much as Atros's first place lead is pretty safe, it seems that Gygus is pretty safe with second place at this point. Pretty far ahead, almost a full game.
He
maybe
should know
more
the right
ahead.
Shalvo pretty well.
Yeah. We have Captain Duck doing some Tiny Toons now. Looks like he's in Stage 1, so just started up the game. Smart Alec getting about halfway through Stage 1. And we have Ace in Stage 3 right now of Mickey's Dangerous Chase.
So Atros is already level 7 on his
Mm-hmm.
on his Pokemon, so he'll definitely have no issues with Brock, I assume.
Seems pretty clear he'll get a significant sub 2 hours, almost maybe a sub 150.
Yep.
in play right
He's
now.
definitely on pace for a sub 2 hour finish.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. Could he sub 150? I think he could, right? Or is it probably...
No, that would be really, really tight.
He needs to get through the forest, so
okay, yeah, that's right.
The problem is that you have to walk back and to drop off the parcel at Oak to get the Pokédex.
Now, did you guys set a rule that there were no glitches allowed in this?
Yeah.
Or
yeah,
Yeah,
it's
that's
glitchless.
because you can basically do whatever you want in this game with glitches.
yeah.
You
Well-
find Pokemon in signs and
To beat Brock, like he would probably need to invent a new glitch or something, because
yeah,
why would you want to beat Brock when you're glitching the game?
yeah, because it's not a real category, of course.
You don't even need to beat Brock if you want to beat Misty, so I believe.
I have no clue.
So pretty decent amount of separation between all the runners. Are these our top 4 runners right now?
Yes, they
All 4 on
were
different
all
games.
maybe. Nope. Yeah, that's as far as I can tell. That's the top 4.
And all 4 on different games. So not as much drama as we might like. But
Yeah.
As
That's what-
Tiny 10 grows, who knows what might happen.
you can blame Moel for not putting more RNG in the games. By letting these people actually be good and win.
Yeah.
It's not fair.
Harder games for Tiny 10-5.
Mega Man 3. Full run.
Barbie
Full
Gamer.
run, yeah.
So Captain Duck here, finishing up stage 1 of Tiny Toons. We have Smart Alec here, starting stage 2 of Mickey's Great Chase here, throwing some blocks at some flying squirrels. Rip squirrels.
Mickey's Dangerous Chase. Not
Whatever.
great.
It's pretty great. I enjoyed it. Ace, starting up stage 3. Actually, nearing the end of stage 3. Carol doing Tailspin. And we have Gygus trying to get through stage 2 of Chavo.
And Carol about to finish up Tailspin and move on to Tiny Toons. So 3rd and 4th will be in the same game. Though Captain Duck already on World 2 of Tiny Toons. And we should be coming close to the end of Etros's really good run here. Probably the next, 5 minutes?
Yeah, not many mistakes on Atros's end.
Nice.
A few deaths.
It's been freaking great what he's been doing.
I
There were
would
a
say
few significant deaths in Mickey, but outside of that, not a lot of.
looking at the other contestants, he is probably the best at every single game so far. So definitely a very good contestant.
That'll help
here.
you win.
That will definitely happen. He's been stealing all our world records lately, so somebody put a stop to this guy.
Interesting strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works for him. Final Fantasy Adventure, that'd be a good one. Full run.
Castle.
That is a fun game.
Was that a knowing counter forest or?
Yeah, the thing about the forest is there's patches of grass you can walk on where there's actually no encounters on, so
Really?
Atros knows where they are.
Is it guaranteed no encounter? Or?
Yeah, it's guaranteed no encounters. They're just grass patches. Not sure if it was a mistake from the developers accidentally putting like the grass sprites on those patches, or that it was intentional to make it a little bit easier for the first area of the game to get through. I'm sure somebody in the chat knows a lot more about Pokemon than I do, but
I know the song.
That's awesome.
Atros having a little bit of bad luck getting poisoned.
yeah. Speaking of getting poisoned in Viridian Forest, while Captain Duck was doing his first blind run of this marathon, and he had never played Pokemon in his life because he doesn't like it. He got poisoned at the same fight where Atros is now, and he did not know that if he would die, you would get sent back to the very last place you either healed or the last Pokemon Center you visited. So yeah, he got put back all the way to the beginning of the game because of it. Us in chat were saying, no, stop, don't move, because he had picked up an antidote. But yeah, he didn't know anything about the game. He had to start basically all over again.
Oh. So not a big deal for him. He's gonna go to the Poké Center, heal up, and I assume he's gonna go.
So Gygus actually going through Chavo pretty quick, actually. He hasn't made any major mistakes out in the game either, so he should be finished up World 3 here rather quickly. Infinite Mystery, the dreaded 4-2. I know he was having a lot of issues with this stage during practice, so curious to see how well he gets through this now.
And Atros on the final boss of Tiny 10.
Yeah, it took me maybe 30 minutes to get to that in Game Boy Quest, and like an hour plus for 4-2, 441, 42. So yeah. So looks like Atros is going to wrap up this tournament here with a bow on it by killing some rocks with the turtle.
What a
Some
great
bubbles.
way to end the tournament.
With true drama.
Oh, looks like
Okay.
Ace's emulator crashed on Mickey 4-2.
Oh, really?
Sucks.
Oop.
But Atros has finished first place with a time of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and 28 seconds.
Wow, sub 155.
Jesus.
Really awesome time.
That is a really awesome time. Like everything I picked out of all these games that you see here, except for of course a full run of Pokemon, are beatable speedrun wise in either 10 minutes or 15 minutes. So it was always possible that somebody would get a sub 2 for sure. Oh, that's really amazing.
I think he was using VGA though, so
Yeah, so we'll have to recount.
yeah.
Yeah, that was damn good. Jesus.
Everybody congratulate Atros. Give him a follow if you want to watch him do Game Boy stuff. I've already done so myself.
Yeah, Atros beast moded through that, guys.
Mm.
If he touches Barbie Game Girl, everybody
Oh yeah, he will take
Twitch
your
ban
record.
him. Twitch ban him.
He will take everyone's record.
I've already found a new Tekken Barbie game girl.
Well, you didn't tell me, so you're a jerk.
I'd rather just show you. So we have Captain Duck here in stage 3 of Tiny Toons. Looks like he's about to do the final switch right now for Fifi, so you get to see more trees. We have Smart Alec doing Mickey Dangerous Chase, trying to get through stage 3 right now. Ace here's just contemplating life right now after his emulator crashed on Mickey. Carol doing some Tiny Toon adventures. Looks like they are on stage 2 right now, just getting the cat. Infinite Mystery fighting the Joker right now. No lives, so it'll be a tight fight. Gygas here finishing up World 3, of Chavo 55.
Yeah, it seems like the real race here is going to be between third place, between Captain Duck and Carol. Gygas pretty much guaranteed to have wrapped up second place unless he's just really bad at the Pokemons. Probably will get close sub 210.
Oof, Infinite Mystery dying to Jokers, having to redo stage 4 completely over again.
Oh, that's brutal. Batman stage 4 is not forgiving, especially if you do not haven't sat down and practiced it and know how to deal with all those turrets. You're really setting yourself up to get.
The Joker fight is tough if you don't have any weapon power-ups.
Takes a lot of hits.
The first time I played this game, I did the Joker fight without any gun power-ups at all, and it took forever. The second time I played this game, I killed the Joker in mere seconds. So
yeah, if you don't have power-ups, he takes a lot of hits. A lot of hits. I feel like all of the bosses in that game take a little bit too many hits than necessary, but
well, there's not even a boss in stage 2, so you don't have to worry about that.
oh yeah, that's true.
Alright.
So let's see if he picks Squirtle.
Smart Alec doing the climb down the mountain via birds. Looks like Ace decided to jump back into the game here. Gonna try and finish up stage 4 of Mickey.
It does look like Gygas did choose Squirtle, apparently. Good call.
I wonder if any of the blind runners will pick a different
Charmander.
Pokemon.
That's actually true. I don't know. I feel like these runs are so well known, but I don't know them that well, so I wouldn't
didn't
be
know.
surprised.
I picked Bulbasaur.
Yeah, that makes sense to me. Although it sounds like that wouldn't be too crucial of a mistake. That would be possible, but
Bulbasaur was horrible. Like, getting to level 14.
yeah, so you're gonna have to level considerably more.
Yeah, and there's nothing to level on. Like, level 2 Pokemon give no experience. So.
Squirtle it is.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, Atros.
Hey Traz, congratulations on your first place finish for Tiny 10 number 4.
Thank you, man.
So how did you feel? How do you feel about your run?
Honestly, as sad as it is, the one out of the entire run, the thing that made me the most happy was Tetris, because I sucked at that game when I first started, because I never really played puzzle games. So I grinded that game more than any other game, and that was my best time by like 30 seconds or something. So I was just stoked about that Tetris attack run.
From what I've seen, you were like way ahead on the puzzle game in Tetris compared to the other contestants, so...
Well, it's glad that my practice paid off on Tetris Attack.
Which of the games do you think presented their biggest struggle to you, outside of obviously getting used to playing a puzzle game?
When I first read through all the list and then I actually watched all the runs, the one that I didn't want to do the most was Mickey. And it's actually the game I learned last, and it was the game that I feel like I did the worst on throughout the run, and it's probably my worst game in general. That game sucks, dude. I hate that Mickey game so much.
Yeah, out of all of the games, that was the only one that I saw some significant mistakes, a couple of deaths that lost some time, but outside of that, everything seemed pretty solid, and you pretty much took the lead and held on to it through the whole 2 hours. Impressive.
So I have to give Zalo some shout-outs, though, considering the fact, because right now, Captain, I'm sitting and watching him on Chalvo 55, and there's a few time savers I did throughout the run, and one of them Zalo actually told me about, because I convinced Zalo to join the Tiny 10, and we were discussing Chalvo, and he was like, yeah, there's actually a pretty huge time saver on stage 2, and it's right next to the spring. You're supposed to actually push the block down, then push the spring down and move the spring into place, but you can actually push the block to like the very edge, and if you bounce on it correctly, you can just skip right over to where you're supposed to go, and it saves, I don't know, probably like a minute or two if you do it that way.
Oh wow! So some secret discussions going on between the Tiny 10 contestants. Some collusion.
It's a conspiracy.
Yeah, I needed to win at all costs, man. That's the only way I won.
Which of these games was your favorite to learn as you went through practice on this?
Oh, that's the easiest question ever. eSparks. Oh my goodness, dude. I love eSparks. I actually, 3 of the games in the Tiny 10 I played during the last mystery tournament, and one of them was eSparks. And when the very first game I learned to speedrun for this was Tailspin, I think. And I ended up getting the world record on that. And then I went on to eSparks. And I just love that game. I'll probably keep playing that game for a long time to come.
A lot of love for the eSparks on this Tiny 10.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that.
Hidden gem. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah, if anybody here hasn't played eSparks, you guys really should. It's a pretty short game. Speedrun of it's, sub 15 minutes, and it's just extremely fun. If you like kind of Mega Man-ish games where you got, you're going through the levels, you kill a bunch of enemies, and then you got the boss fight, you'll like that game.
Awesome. I think you're probably going to have at least one by about 10 minutes, it looks like, plus here, which is... You took all the drama out of the tournament, so thanks a lot for that.
Actually, it sucks, though, because I wanted to come into the tournament with at least 3 world records, but I couldn't get... there's only a few games that actually were... There's 5 games that would beat the game. In Ultraman Ball, there's no way I was even going to touch that with the 10-foot pole. I'm trying to get the world record. And so that kind of limited me down a little bit. But I actually tried to go for the Tiny Toons world record. There's no way. Nudua's run is just so good, and I feel really bad for him and Joka, because Joka's 1 second behind Nudua's Tiny Toons run, and Nudua's Mickey Mouse run is in 2nd place. And in his video, it actually says that he's 1 second behind the world record. So he was 1 second behind the world record 2 different times on Mickey Mouse.
Oh, that's funny. Well, just stay away from Barbie Game Girl. It's the only that I give to you.
Adam's Family by 3 frames.
That Game Boy community is getting competitive. We need more Game Boy speedrunners.
It's really starting to go very well for the Game Boy community as of late.
No drama yet
No well, except for Kirby's Drama Land sometimes, but
Oh, let's not talk about that.
I try and cause as much drama as I can, but it doesn't work out,
Nah.
unfortunately. I don't pronounce Mo's name correctly, so that helps.
that's true.
That's why we call him Mo.
Moel is so beautiful, though.
Oh no! Please.
Like, I'll give you as many shout-outs on the podcast as I can, but I won't ever
That
pronounce
is
your
true.
name properly. VBA.
VBA. Oh god.
I'm gonna change my Twitch name to like VBA Runner. Just upset Mo.
I think you will upset PLD much more than me, but
Carol coming to the end of Tiny Toons here. And Captain Duck now tearing through Chalvo 55 as well. Seems like people put a decent amount of time into Chalvo. I don't see a lot of struggles from the top few runners so far.
yeah, I hope somebody actually routes the entire game now. I know Callum Ball was actually trying it but gave up, and there was another person trying it, and they never finished doing it. Would be cool to see an entire speedrun of that sometimes.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
touches it, it'll be a world record.
yeah, of course. Meanwhile, Zarbi is still struggling with the final stages of Batman. Zello Ray is struggling with the shoot 'em up parts of Batman, and some girl is actually back, but
Woo!
still on Vanishing Racer.
Maybe she got banished for a bit.
Ugh.
So-
You guys were talking about doing full runs of Chalvo. The
Yeah.
reason I was actually able to do so well is because Zalo has actually routed out this entire game. So he sent me
It
a
was-
link of all the maps that he had. Like he has plain like maps with nothing written on them, and he has maps with his route written on them and everything. And he said he's done a full run, and he's gotten like 46 minutes or something, maybe an hour. So I can't remember. He did tell me that he has completed this game before.
Oh,
So.
all right.
Yeah,
So it
Chalvo, I
was-
cheated off of him. So
And Infinite Mystery is he still in 4? He's not on the screen right now, but
Yeah, Infinite Mystery is on back in 4-1 again, going into 4-2.
So still going through that gamut. Batman definitely posing a kind of a breaking point between people in the amount of time they practiced.
Mhm.
Definitely a game where memorization helps.
So Captain Duck here fighting World 2 boss of Chavo, and unfortunately getting sucked into the black hole right away.
Yeah, if you, yeah, I saw it. That sometimes happens.
It sometimes does, yep.
Looks like some sort of spider just joined the chat.
The only person crazy enough to do a Game Boy Color system challenge.
That's just the dumbest thing I've ever heard of.
I'm doing Game Boy and Color. So,
Yeah, that's true.
That's even worse.
You
even worse.
only do races, so that's a different category altogether.
I only do American original Game Boy because America.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I do pretty much anything. Zenic Reverie only does. Well, I think he
You don't do
tries to
anything. You skip all the sports games.
That's not true because the last 20 games have all been like sports games or the game show games and stuff like that. So that's
Shout out to Jeopardy.
that's right.
So we got Geigus here about to fight Brock, so he'll be our probably second place finish.
Yeah, good run by Geigus. Let's see how he does against Brock here with his magic turtle.
Kappa.
See, I'm imagining the Pokemon music, but I can't hear it. It's pretty sad. It looks like Captain Duck pretty safe to finish third place now.
Yeah,
Well.
probably.
Yeah, we got Carol here finishing up World 1 of Chavo. We have Smart Alec here trying to get through 5-1 of Mickey. We have Ace still trying to struggle through stage 4 of Mickey. Infinite Mystery in Batman 4-2 again. So
Oh, and Gygas beats Brock.
Yeah.
Final time of
Second
something.
place for Gygas. Shoutouts to him. He's probably immediately gonna leave for work now.
yep.
So depending
Yes.
on his time was going to depend on if he was on time to work or not.
Yeah.
That is a motivating factor.
That
Keeping
is.
your employment.
So Gygas finished second place in 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 11 seconds. Very nice run.
Very well done.
Meanwhile, Zarbi is on Tetris Attack, and some girl is still on Vanishing Racer.
Zelleray seems to have paused the game. For a
Yeah.
little break here. Interesting strategy. Let's see how it works for him. Some girl on the internet definitely implementing a very interesting strategy of
Yeah, that was
taking an hour and a half off during the first game.
It's a handicap, I'm telling you.
Yeah, she's gonna beat the rest of the games in probably 15 minutes.
Yeah, I
total.
can see in her streaming title she is blind on 7 out of the 10 games in this race.
She's blind on Banishing Racer. I understand why she took a break.
Yeah.
Yeah, that did look a bit difficult. It's always those adorable games that have to be so difficult, right?
That is true, especially on Game Boy. It's yeah.
Except for
Yeah.
Nobo.
Trip World, that game's pretty easy.
Well, Nubo is still a pretty long game.
I think Trip World's really easy till the end, and then I couldn't. One of the bosses.
I quit picking Ultraman Ball clones. Actually, I knew about Shalvo before Ultraman Ball, so...
Yeah, these pause strats by Zelleray.
Incredible. Yeah, big shoutouts to Fiesel, providing us a new platform to stream this Tiny 10 race on. We used to do this on the ESA channel, but that couldn't go through anymore, so it's nice of Fiesel to make a stream where a lot of tournaments and more medium-sized 15 2 weeks ago.
Could you say that again?
What is that?
I meant medium-sized 15.
Well,
that's
could
the,
you-
that's the
could you-
Master 15 race.
Mullah,
Oh,
could you
okay.
thank Fiesel again because it got cut off? Discord disconnected from me for a second.
Oh, okay. Well, like I said, shoutouts to Fiesel for making a stream where a lot of tournaments and races can be held, and it's really great. So we can do this because we used to do this on the ESA channel, but that couldn't go through anymore. So it's nice to have a new platform to do this on.
Yeah, definitely give Speed Gaming a follow if you haven't already. A lot of cool tournaments going on here. The 46 Robot Master Tournament's been going on for a while. It's just been pretty coal.
Yeah,
A lot
and
of
like
other tournaments on here.
Like I said, the Master 15, which happened 2 weeks ago, hosted
How did I miss that?
by Beatrim and Crazy Rasmus, I believe. I think they're behind that. That's also one of those systems that doesn't get that much love, but it looks pretty interesting actually. Next time I'll be sure to join it.
I need to go find what games they play. That's pretty cool.
Alright, so we got Captain Duck here starting Pokemon.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't pull a duck.
There's a Bubble Bobble on Master System?
Yep.
Yep.
What? I did not know.
Infinite Mystery here fighting the Joker. He at least has one extra life, so if this doesn't work out for him, he has another shot at it before having to start stage 4 over again. I forgot to mention, my favorite animation from Batman is when you're ducked and you try to walk left or right. The squat walking is
Yeah,
by
that's
far the best animation in the game.
Forgot Best of Nest is next weekend. which I'm
Right.
which I'm
Halloween
participating in. So now I'm glad that somebody reminded me. That could have been bad.
You're playing Alien Syndrome, correct?
Yep. The greatest game on the original Nintendo. So we've got Captain Duck starting up Pokemon.
Gigas asked if he could promote himself for AGDQ in the chat at Speed Gaming.
Is he running it? Is he running at AGDQ?
Yeah, I think
I
a lot of
believe
his
so,
games
yeah.
got picked.
Nice. I could not get in.
I'm a little sad
SGDQs for me.
about Game Boy lineup this year.
That was pretty strong for summer games done quick.
Yeah, it was a lot
Yeah, it
better
was.
than...
What about you, Mullah? Did any of your games get into?
Yeah, because I'm the best speedrunner around and I enter all the all those things. No. No.
You used to have Felix record.
I used to, yeah. I used to have eSpark's record and Tailspin record until somebody else stole it from me.
You still have the Kid Nicky record
That is true.
for now.
I still have the Amazing Spider-Man 2 record on Game Boy.
Oh.
'Cause nobody wants to touch that game.
Oh, those
Oh,
games are
God.
bad. I wonder how many records me or anybody else technically has just from doing, your Game Boy Quest, Game Boy Mania thing.
Oh yeah, probably.
Because there's games that probably nobody's ever beaten, at least recorded wise.
Jeopardy
Oh,
Team
yeah,
Tournament.
PLD.
Yeah, I probably have all 4 Jeopardy world records. I beat them all in a row.
Darkwing Duck is indeed my, I mean, if somebody takes that, I'm gonna try and take you down once again, but it's pretty optimized, so it's not gonna be easy, but there is still time to save, for sure.
I beat one of the wrestling games in like 8 minutes casually, which made me feel really sad for anybody who got that game bought for them for $50 back in the day.
Yeah, I beat one pretty quickly as well.
It was like,
If you play Warzone, you can just sit on the side of the apron and win the game.
I beat Trip World in 13 minutes. Imagine paying $300 for that.
Yeah,
that's fair. Although I don't think back in the day you would have paid that. Oh,
I probably wouldn't have beaten it in 13 minutes either.
yeah, that's
yeah.
Yeah, Darkwing Duck, if anybody's interested in running that game, we are still looking for a good strat for Bush Root, actually. Because that is the one thing we cannot seem to figure out to improve.
Because Bushroot's a jerk.
Thanks for joining the race, Gigas.
Also, some girl on the internet is now an Ultraman ball, by the way, guys. Just
Oh,
Alright.
progress.
Yeah, Zarby's on Mickey. Thank you everybody for joining this race. The turnout has been a lot more than we expected because usually it's only 3 to 5 people, so...
Zelleray running into some issues here on stage 3. Keeping to have to repeat it. See a Gygas Blues again. Congratulations on second place. Seems like third place is going to end up being Captain Duck here. He's got a pretty sizable lead over Carol, who should be
Yeah.
fourth.
got him grabbing the Pokedex, so he'll be progressing towards Brock now.
Yeah, seems like not much drama once you get into Pokemon, just because it seems pretty set on what will happen. Doesn't seem like there's going to be a huge amount of variance.
With Mickey, so those two are very, very close together. We have Zalo and Infinite Mystery and Batman. Zalo is going through 3-2 right now, so he'll have to fight Shredder, Plane, and Helicopter. And then we have Infinite Mystery in stage 4.
How did Zalo just get to Mickey? I thought he was on World
No,
3.
Zalo's in that.
Oh, you haven't updated the name. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm on it.
I was so confused. I was like, wow, we found a warp.
Yeah, Darby and Mickey. I can't tell which stage they are in. It looks like stage 1.
That looks like stage 1 to me.
And then we have some girl on the internet and Ultraman Ball.
Ooh, TMNT 3. Cool.
Yeah, I wanted to play something this afternoon, and I kind of wanted to play that game again, and I knew it had passwords, so even if I couldn't finish it, I could easily pick it back up again. And somehow I just beat it in one life. And it's a really tough game. It's
game?
Turtles 3 Radical Rescue, which is like a Metroidvania kind of game, but I still knew where to go, basically, till the end, but I always had troubles with the final boss rush, and then you get to fight Shredder and Super Shredder all with one life. And I always had trouble with that, but now I just did it like like it was nothing. So I was really surprised. I looked up the speedrun for that. The current record is 29 minutes. I might have to look into that game after this. And speaking of things to look into, Mangera, would you like to tell more about Game Boy Monthly, maybe?
No.
Okay.
Game Boy Monthly is a thing we're gonna try for the second time. Because the first one kind of failed, but so what the idea is that each month we're gonna pick a different Game Boy or Game Boy Color game, and we're gonna do a small competition around it, and people with the best time are gonna get points that will be added up at the end of the month, and there will be a race of that game at the end of the month as well for some bonus points, and then each month you can get points for a different game, I guess. And the whole thing, if you win the month's game, you get to pick 3 or 5 games, and then the community gets to vote on which one gets played for the next month. I'm really bad at explaining this stuff, by the way.
No, that's fine. And yeah, this month's game, well, next month's game, it's the November game, is, the Japanese name is GB Genjin, but it's better known as Bonk's Adventure in America, or BC Kit in Europe. But preferably you play the Japanese version because of Japanese text, like usual. We think, yeah. The current record is by Jorf, who absolutely destroys that game, so it's not like we're gonna get a world record anytime soon in that, but it's all just for fun. Who knows, yeah.
I mean, if Atros joins, it might happen.
That's true.
I'm still focusing on improving my Adams Family world record. I still feel bad for stealing it from Mangera by like a frame.
Yeah, it's anywhere from 1 to 3 frames because of the 30 FPS YouTube quality.
Alright, so we got Zalo and Infinite Mystery battling out in stage 2 of Batman right now.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to shut down because I'm seeing things double now. Okay, Zarby's in there.
Looks like Captain Duck is fighting Caterpies left and right.
It's a solid strat.
He apparently does not know about the free squares that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, not many people do, actually. I don't know, probably PLD who told me because he's the Pokemon lover. But it was interesting to find out that there are actually paths you can walk on with no Pokemon at all.
And Corral makes it to Pokemon as well.
Yeah, I'm trying to reload my streams here because I'm falling pretty much behind.
Infinite Mystery fighting Joker again.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of Game Boy, something I found out recently is something called Game Boy World. I know a lot of people probably know it already, but I ordered the book, the first book he made, because it's made by one guy, the book. But it's really, really great if you want to find out more about how things got made and what the thoughts were behind it. They also have the website GameBoyWorld.com. Where they post articles about every Game Boy game, and I think there's also a a YouTube series about it. But like, if you're interested in more details about these Game Boy games and instead of just playing the games, it's a really cool thing to check out. And if the person responsible for Game Boy World, called Jeremy Parrish, might be watching this, would be really cool if you could join our Discord or something, and we could talk more about Game Boy games, because that's what we love.
Alright, Infinite Mystery killing the Joker. Moving on to Tetris Attack.
Yeah, some girl on the internet is having some trouble with stage 2 something, which is probably one of the hardest stages in the game. It's, if you don't know where to jump there, and even if you do, it's really hard to get through. There's like 2 stages like this in the entire game. Let's hope she makes it through it, but I get stuck on these things for 15 minutes sometimes.
Looks like Captain Duck is fighting Onyx right now.
Yeah, he finished on the RRC at least, with a time of 2 hours 26 minutes and 44 seconds. Everybody say congrats to Captain Duck, who was last year's winner, by the way. For a nice 3rd place. He had some competition this time.
Yeah, congrats to Captain Duck. It's the bronze cart.
The bronze card, yeah.
You guys like those cart colors?
Yeah.
I don't like the limited space to good names, though.
You can name
Yeah,
cart next time.
That's always tough when making layouts for something like this. Like, I guess next time we would also need like some space to put in the commentators' names or something like that.
Nobody wants to follow those people.
Yeah, that's true. We all suck.
That's true. So yeah, Smart Alec here getting ready to face off against Pete. We got Ace climbing the dreaded building in Mickey's game. Captain Duck obviously finishing in 3rd. We have Carol grabbing the parcel for Professor Oak. Forgot his name there for a second. Zalo trying to get through stage 4 of Batman. Infinite Mystery starting up Tetris Attack with a 1-1. Zarby in, looks like stage 3 for Mickey. And some girl on the internet doing the little heart mini game for Ultraman Ball.
I'm actually gonna hop off the call, but I do appreciate you guys having me on.
Yeah, man. Thanks for
Joining.
joining us.
I'll let you guys finish up. But congrats again to Atraus and Geigus and Captain Duck for the top 3 finishes there. Good luck to the rest of the runners.
Yeah, get well soon, JC.
Thanks, buddy.
And where can people find you normally?
You can find me at John Carls on the things. And all the things on the internet.
Yeah, and make sure to listen to the podcast of
can
John
find-
Carls and Otter Blues called The Frame Savers.
Yeah, you can find us at theframesavers.com if you're interested. Sorry, I'm not big into... I don't want to self-plug much here, but yeah, you can check that out if you'd like. But continue... Hopefully we can continue growing this, and next year we can have 20 runs.
Yeah, if we double it every time, great.
If we double it every time, eventually everybody on Earth would be playing,
Yeah,
mathematically speaking.
that's true. I might be dead by then, but at least
Yeah.
it will happen.
Yeah. Okay, good luck, guys.
Okay. Yeah, it's starting becoming hard to commentate on everything because we basically said everything there is to say about all of these games, at least to our knowledge.
This is what we get for talking too much.
Indeed. Commentating is a hard knock life.
Smart Alec getting some stream time as well now.
Cool.
3
I had
people
to
on Mickey.
reloading my multi-Twitch now to reduce the streamers.
Surprisingly smooth stream so far.
Yeah, nothing really happened. I was
No
getting
real
kind of
hiccups.
scared because my internet just went out 10 minutes before we actually started. But yeah, everything seems to be going fine.
Apart from that one picnic that was Twitch's fault.
That was Twitch's fault. And it was only for some people, including me apparently. So, not really sure what happened there.
Oof, Smart Alec hit the dead end and the building climb. Had nowhere to go.
Yeah, it's a tough stage blind. I would say follow the orbs and stuff, but the problem is even those get you stuck sometimes. It's a really badly designed stage.
Looks like Ace is getting ready to fight Pete.
And the dead end on Smart Alec's part.
Yeah. Yeah, like I said, there's 2 times you have to jump to the left. The rest of the time you can just stick to the right. I'm really surprised I wouldn't say surprised because I knew that with a lot of practice everybody would definitely finish under a 2 hour and 30 minute mark, at least the first 3 places. But I was surprised that it's going so smoothly, because usually we're still here at, for me and Bangara, like 11:30, and now it's not even 10, so that really crazy.
Yeah, to see the all 10 games finished in under 2 hours was
Incredible.
something else.
If people want to check out like the lists of the previous versions of this marathon, you can find everything on, for now at least, still on speedrun.com/tiny10. There's a list of every game ever played with all the goals, and normally all the download links for the ROM list should still be available as well. At least I didn't remove them, so. But as we said sometime earlier, soon we're gonna move everything to GBrunners.com, which will be the place to find out articles with news about all the cool new world records, which are probably all gonna be Atros next month. And we're gonna make sure to get in like guides eventually for games, just general Game Boy speedrunning rules, a list of streamers who frequently play Game Boy games. We are also, well, I'm not doing this, that's the Bloody Candy and Mangera, I guess, are doing this, are making a list of all Game Boy games known to man.
We were doing this.
Yeah, you
It's
were.
a long project.
It's a long project, but eventually it will get there, and the Game Boy Monthly thing will also be on there.
So we got Carol here finishing in 4th place with a time of 2 hours, 34 minutes, and 20 seconds.
Congratulations, Carol. Or Carol. I don't know.
I don't know. GG regardless.
Indeed.
He gets the invisible card, 4th place.
That's the Game Boy Color see-through card.
But
Damn.
yeah.
That's special. Yeah, meanwhile, some girl still struggling with that stage, or is it the second? Yeah, I think that might be the second one. That's really hard. Yep, indeed. Infinite having fun with Tetris Attack. And who don't we have there? Zello is still bat gunning it up.
Tetris Attack is kind of like the break on the list. Like, you can kind of sit back and just like do the game without much fear.
Yeah, it's nice to have a break in between. That's usually what we try to do, like put in a really simple puzzle game, which can be played really well, like Atros showed probably. Like, it can go by really fast, but you can also
Fighting Pete. We're getting ready to fight Pete, rather. We have Ace fighting Pete right now. Pete sucks to fight, period. Zalo trying to get through stage 4 on Batman. He'll be entering 4-2 right now, which is notably the hardest level in the game.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. The more you play that stage, the more you get familiar with it, but the first time around, this is an absolute nightmare.
It's very dependent on the gun, too. If you have a gun that can't go through walls, it makes the stage even harder, because you can't advance kill anything later on in the level.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a bad bet for Zello.
So we got Smart Alec here starting stage 5 over. Oof, and Ace takes a death on Pete as well.
Pete is not easy. His pattern is very wonky to actually get hits in. And like I said before, like just damage boosting is not a really good option either. It is possible, but it's just really wonky. The good thing about that final stage in Mickey is that you always get a 1-up at the start, unless you of course die before it, and there's plenty of stars to just keep going in that stage, so you won't have to do in the entire 5-1 and 5-2 again.
Yeah, it looks like Zalo is using the narrow gun right now, so no shots are going through the wall, but he does have a ton of upgrades for it.
Mm-hmm. Nameless D. The first 4 people have already finished the race. Actually, from the people who are now on screen, Ace is in the lead.
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of hang up right now in Mickey's Chase. So, which I figured would be one of the harder games going in blind.
Yeah, that's what I heard about people practicing. That this was probably the toughest game, and I ran it the entire list a few times as well, and I think this is by far the hardest game in the entire race.
Yeah, so we have Ace now going into Tailspin. Telling Pete to go play in Goof Troop. Looks like Smart Alec now in 5-3, getting to the point where he has to fight Pete. Smart Alec's been having a lot of issues with Stage 5 and Mickey. Like we've said before, it's not easy. It's by far one of the harder stages in the game, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just because the Pete fight, if you can't do it quickly, or if you can't take damage boosts or whatever, it's a long fight. And like Mo said, it's really wonky to get hits in on him.
Where does my deep hatred of Mickey come from? It's just this final stage. It really works on my nerves.
Yeah.
It does not work the way you want it to work. Like, first I had a problem with like the entire stage 4 area, but once I kinda knew where to go, it was alright. But stage 5, the undodgeable barrels are dumb, the auto-scroller with blind dead ends is dumb, and the Pete fight is absolutely one of the worst boss fights in the history of gaming.
Alright, so some girl on the internet is going into 4-5 of Ultraman Ball.
She is almost through then. Infinite will be glad to know that he's not the furthest behind.
Even if he was, he would never give up, though.
That's
so true.
That is true. He can even take an hour and a half break now, if he wants to, and probably still not finish last. So
Yeah, Infinite Mystery did the Big 20, which took him a long time.
mm-hmm.
Then he did the Master 15, which also took him, I think, like 17 hours. So
Yeah, I think Tiny 10 1 and Tiny 10 2 also took him like more than 15 hours. But the third one he finished in like 6 or something. And now I'm pretty sure he can get there under 3:30, I would say, if he's lucky. But yeah, it will not take him all night to finish this one.
hope not.
I hope not. Yeah. Yeah, I hope some girl on the internet will not have too much trouble with the other 5 blind games she has to play.
Oh, 35 hours for Big 20, 18 for Master 15. Yeah, Infinite Mystery pulls some crazy hours in that.
Everybody should just follow him for stuff like that. He will not give up. I don't even understand how he does it sometimes.
I'm exhausted after 2 hours and 43 minutes, and I've just been restreaming this. I'm not even playing. I did spend 4 hours in the car today as well, so that might be why.
Yeah, that's no fun.
And I was driving, so.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god,
That's a good one.
that's
Restream.
always gonna haunt me.
Yep. Forever.
Zarby starting the building climb now.
But yeah, there's Beatrim, one of the people behind Semester 15. Any plans for the next one already?
And I
Beatrim?
believe Beatrim was in the previous Tiny 10 as well?
Maybe?
Or am I misremembering that?
Could be. He did one of them, yeah.
I remembered.
Good job, Bangra.
It's not like you have many people to remember from the previous. With Looney Tunes Dark.
No, that wasn't the previous one.
Oh,
That was...
I remember those games from Tiny 10 too.
Yeah.
Looney Tunes, worst game in that entire list.
Probably
That was
about a
the-
year ago. Yeah, you usually try to well, usually this is only the fourth one, but like 3 a year, something like that. I guess this is the third one this year.
No, this is the second one this year.
Really?
Yeah, Tiny 10 2 was in November of 2015.
Oh.
Tiny 10 3 was in April.
All right, well, 2 a year then.
It's gonna be great finding 10 more games.
It's gonna be pretty easy. We have never done a Donkey Kong Land game. We have never done a Castlevania game.
Oh, Castlevania Adventure?
No, we're
Double
probably
Dragon
not gonna
3?
do that one. What else is there? There's still plenty left. I'm surprised every time that we keep finding so many. That's the good thing about doing a Game Boy System challenge as well, that you find out new games that nobody's ever heard of.
Bonk.
Like, well, that's not. Yeah, okay. People knew that game, but yeah, that's probably gotta be in it for sure. And Jurassic Park 2.
Ugh. Mega Man 5, first 4 bosses.
Maybe. There was another game that somebody mentioned, but I can't remember which one.
There's honestly like a lot of hidden gems on Game Boy though.
Yeah.
That's
The thing
kind of
is-
good.
The thing is mostly that we have to take in consideration blind runners. That's the biggest problem for some of them.
Yeah, so that's kind of like the nice thing with Game Boy though. It's like since Game Boy is like most people know like the very popular Game Boy games, like you got Pokemon and games like that. But like there are a lot of hidden games that people have never even heard of. You know, maybe not native to like America or Europe or Japan that you know people wouldn't often see or have played before.
It's definitely hard to find them all. And some of the Japanese games are also really good, but just unplayable because you need to be able to read the text to make any progress. Because there's like a lot of RPGs and stuff like that that are actually pretty good, but unless they get a fan translation, it's literally impossible for non-Japanese speakers to even play them.
Legend of the River King.
Yeah, one of those is actually. I keep forgetting what the Japanese name is, but in English we call it the translation For which frog? The Balto? I don't know. It's Kyrie No something, which is a very interesting game. PLD can help me out on that. We just call it Froggy Game for short. It's kind of like a Zelda game where you turn into a snake and a frog to progress to dungeons.
Double Dragon 3.
Nobody likes Double Dragon 3. I tried to get Double Dragon 1 in for one of the Tiny Tens, but the problem is the last stage in that game, where there's like this random wall that pushes you and instantly kills you, and it's the worst RNG you've ever seen, so it could be that you don't get hit at all, or you just keep dying over and over, and there's not infinite continues, so...
At no point you game over, you start over.
Yeah.
It's a brutal game.
Yeah, all the Castlevania games after Adventure are actually super great games, but the final bosses in each of those games are super hard to do blind.
Is there a Splatterhouse for the Game Boy?
Not that I know.
That game is a lot of fun.
Legends has an easy mode. I think it does, but I'm also pretty sure that the final bosses are still bullshit in that game. Some girl on the internet, meanwhile, going on to Miracle Adventures of Eastpart. And Zello, or is he already on? No, he's not. He's still struggling with the final stages of Batman.
Yep, Zello on 4-2 right now. Infinite Mystery getting through 2-4. While we have Smart Alec and Ace on Tailspin.
Yeah, I can say something because I missed all the bosses during Atros's run on Tailspin. The second boss, you see like the ball at the top of the screen. You can actually destroy that to get it out of your way, which makes it a lot easier to actually move around while he's shooting at you. What you want to do in the speedrun is just ignore it completely, line up with his hitbox and shoot him. But the problem is that his hitbox is so tiny that it's kind of hard to get a feel for where you actually have to be placed on the screen to shoot him.
Looks like we got Zarby here in 5-3 here about to fight Pete.
We should let the winner pick one game for the list. Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea because we still don't have any prizes to give away. Actual prizes.
Have all previous winners be able to pick a game. I'd choose Mega Man 5.
Yeah, who were all the previous winners? Captain Duck was the last one. Before that was someone else, but they gave... Actually, we had a prize then.
I was number 2.
We gave the prize to Captain
Duck.
Check Discord, okay. No. Yeah, that's fine by me, man.
Yeah, I don't know who won the first Tiny 10 because I wasn't speedrunning then. But I won the second Tiny 10, Captain Duck won the third one, Atros won number 4.
I don't remember the first one either.
Zarby here having a fun time with Pete. Everyone has a fun time with Pete.
He's a great guy.
He is. He's a jolly. Is he a cat? Is it a jolly dog? I don't know what he is.
I think he's supposed to be a dog, yeah.
So Zayla's still trying to get through stage 4 Batman. Looks like he might have the power gun now. Oh yeah, he has the power gun now. You can see the bullets going through
Yep.
the ground. Which is not a bad gun to have. It's a good gun for later on in the stage of 4-2. The hard parts of the starting parts of 4-2 are the jumps. Like I mentioned earlier, if you can get like on the pixel of the edge of the jump, you won't get hit by the turret's body itself, and you can just kill it quickly. And if you duck when the bullets are coming at you at a diagonal, you won't take damage unless it hits you directly in the middle of Batman's body. But once you get about the halfway point of 4-2 is when all the jumps start to be a thing. So that's when you want to start shooting through the walls to get advanced kills on the turrets.
Yeah, you do need to really know where you're going in that stage before you can do that, but...
So I am about to finish up the Tetrises. It's on 2-5 right now with the clear line visible. So it's just a matter of him matching up a few of the icons and getting that below the line. Then he'll be moving on to Mickey's Dangerous Chase.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like he's panicking though on that final bit.
Yeah, you can get lost easily in that game if you're not like actually paying attention.
Looks like IM doesn't know that he can just fill in the hole to continue on. But there he goes. He finishes it. He'll be moving on to Mickey. Well, we got Zarby here going back at Pete again. Looks like Ace is taking a quick break to grab something to eat before he continues. Oof, some girl on the internet game overs and E-Sparks. So all of her points are now reset to 0. So if she did have the 3,000 points for the advanced armor, it's gone. So
yeah. Yeah, there's no way to get it back easily either. She's still only on stage 2 though. So she might still have a chance. There is a way you can farm the Frieza boss on this stage. He keeps shooting out his hands to you, and they're worth 10 points each. So it is literally technically possible to farm. But,
So how far is Ace and Smart Alec right now in Tailspin? See, Smart Alec is in like a storm cloud right now, trying to fight bombs and swordfish.
Ace is on the 3rd stage, and Smart Alec is on the 4th stage. Yeah, the 4th stage boss is the worst in the game for sure.
Okay.
If he gets there, I'll comment on it because I did forget to do it before.
Going into the bonus stage is definitely a mistake, though.
It is a mistake, yeah.
He's on the flying croissant.
Oh, you do get 1-ups at the end, okay.
Yeah. But speedrunning wise, you really do not want to go there.
The points you get are just points, they don't do anything. they don't count towards your credit total either, so you can't buy anything with those points. So the
Correct, yeah.
only thing that they're good for is, I guess, the extra life.
Yep, so Zarby finishes up Mickey and is on the tailspin as well now.
Alright, so the boss should be showing up. I might be a little behind, so I'll start talking about him now. Like I said before, you can only hit him when he... Oh wait, I did say everything about it. You can only hit him when he's like tied together into one plane instead of separate on each side of the screen. If you're lucky enough, you can get him in 2 cycles, but the probability is it's gonna take at least 4, or if you're really unlucky, more than 8.
It's like some girl on the internet is cheesing up one of the bosses there in East Parks, killing Frieza's head.
Mm-hmm.
Actually trying to fight these bosses in Tailspin really does get you in trouble, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's better to just spam your attack on them.
Job well done.
None of them are too hard, but it's just... You don't even have to bother fighting them, so why would you?
So, something we didn't talk about with Mickey, which I don't even know this, I guess, is what happens when you collect the 4 globes in each level.
Then you get an extra life at the end of the stage. No
Okay, so
bonus round or anything, you just get it.
So it's very similar to that when you collect 100 stars, you just get a 1-up.
Yeah, indeed.
Still enjoy it. There's bananas in the storm cloud.
Alright, we went past the 3-hour mark, and as you can probably notice, us commentators are kinda getting a little bit tired of talking, and we also can't really contribute anything to all of these runs anymore. So I think we're just gonna stop streaming the entire race, but if you have a favorite out of all these people who are still going, which are Infinite Mystery, Zarby89, Ace, 11575X, Smart Alec, maybe some girl on the internet, or Zialo Ray, be sure to go support them on their channel and give them a follow, and do the same for like everything involved in in this thing, like Fiesel himself, who is the guy who made this channel. Be sure to follow this channel itself for a lot of these things. There's a lot of tournaments going on, and most of them are getting hosted on here. Follow the commentators like Bangera, Bloody Candy, and me, Mula. You've seen my name in the chat come up. And yeah, be sure to check out gbrunners.com soon, where you can find all of these people together, so we don't have to mention them each time. And if you other guys still want to say something before we head off?
I'm dead.
I'm good.
Okay, everybody is dead. But yeah, thank you everybody for joining, all the racers, and everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed this evening, and hope to see more of you people for Tiny 10.5. No date set yet, but keep an eye out for announcements. No.
And we'll try even better to, or even more, to promote this event, because that's mostly where we've been lacking. The first four. Well, the first three. This one was a little bit better.
Yeah, this one was better, yeah. That's the hardest part, always.
But yeah, thanks everyone for watching again. It's having people view this is always makes it just a little bit better. Yeah. Keep on keeping on, and speed gaming and whatever you want. And yeah.
Yeah, and get on that Game Boy train before it's too late.
Yeah, just play Game Boy forever.
Yeah, indeed. That's all you need to do.
So yeah, guess we'll end it here then.
We'll end it here.
Goodbye.
Thanks, everybody.